Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Hidden Side Quest, and we have a very special episode for everyone today. As you can see from your screen, if you're watching it, we have three little squares today instead of the usual two. Today, I am joined with Edwin, as always, and we have a special guest, Nick, my best friend, a close family friend, a Pokemon master in itself. And yeah, today we're gonna basically talk about Pokemon Legends ZA. Z to A. There's many ways to say this game. I think Z to A is dumb. I think Za is dumber. Legend ZA I think makes the most sense, but Pokemon Company has called them all three, so I have no idea which one's the right way. So, you can let me know how you pronounce it. But
I'll tell you right now that the right way is ZA. There is
yes,
no other way. If you say anything other
Thank you.
than ZA, you know, let us know in the comments. I know there's a few more of you this time around than there were the last time we
Respectfully,
recorded one
you're
of these.
incorrect.
Z to
But
A just sounds weird.
if you're saying Zeta A,
Yeah, people are
I'm
saying
gonna
Z
choke
to
you
A
out.
because you go rank Z to A. I'm like, okay, it makes sense, but that's a dumb name. So
Yeah,
that's
that's how
just
you play the game. That's not in the
yeah.
game title.
Yeah, and also basing your whole game around that name is also dumb in my opinion. But we can get into that later. So today we are gonna basically, we've had almost a month with this game, so we put a lot of hours into it. We've had a lot of time to digest not just the main game, but the post game, the DLCs around the corner, and we have a better idea what's that gonna be. And there's kind of a lot of in betweens. Me myself, like, well, first off, if you've been following me from the last few weeks, you obviously a lot of people know my thoughts on this game from shorts and videos and live streams. But my thoughts have also simmered a lot, and I've also thought about it a lot in the context of where the series goes from here. But I also want to kind of break down Edwin's kind of look on the game and Nick's look on the game. Before we kind of move on, I kind of do want to just kind of talk about our history with Pokemon, which I think is interesting, and the reason why I wanted this podcast to kind of come together in this way because we're all Pokemon fans, but we all started at different times and we all digested differently and at different levels. And I think for me, I think that's intriguing as just like, being the Pokemon fan I am. One of my biggest loves for this franchise is talking to people that may have different levels of enjoyment through this franchise, whether it's, the main games or a mobile game or, everything in between. So kind of just to talk about my history real quick. Actually, no. Let's start with Edwin's history. Let's start from the beginning. Edwin, history of
Yes.
Pokemon. Go for it.
Oldest.
all right, the history in my history with Pokemon. So actually, it's kind of a trip. Pokemon has been around a long time. I'm the oldest, of the three of us here. So I mean, I feel like maybe I can go back the furthest with the most mature mindset, I guess you would say. So Pokemon started to break out for me when I was in the sixth grade. I remember this very distinctly. So everything started happening from the Pokemon television show, Pokemon cards, the original Game Boy games on blue and red version here in America. So this is what 1998, 1999, like just before the year 2000. So that's when it was really starting to pop off. And if you weren't into Pokemon back in those days, you were just a nobody. Like at least in my sphere, Pokemon was it. It was every kid's thing, and I trip out on that so much because I am 38 years old now, and to think back, I was a child when in sixth grade, obviously, and for something to have remained as relevant as Pokemon has for as long as it has, like it's never died out. Really, it's always been relevant. People kind of come in and out of it depending on their varying hype levels, but it is stronger today as a property than it's ever been. And that all started back, when my early days. So my very first kind of entryway into the series, I remember very. I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast. I'll try to kind of get through it quick, but it's kind of funny. So my brother's 2 years younger than I. We would always watch shows together as a kid, and this is something that we would do as kids when we'd watch TV shows or cool movies. Is like we would pretend that we were the characters, like oh, like if we're watching Power Rangers, oh, I'm the Red Ranger, and my brother, oh, I'm the Blue Ranger, I'm the Black Ranger, whatever. Like we'd had our favorites, and we'd pretend like oh, that's me. So it was actually my brother who went with my mom to Blockbuster, who she rented a couple of VHS tapes, and it was maybe the first couple episodes of Pokemon, and he my brother was
I
telling me about
remember
it
those.
because he
Those
had
were so
already
cool.
yeah, and so my brother was telling me he had already watched them, and I remember I was getting picked up from somewhere or whatever. So my brother's telling me about it. He's in fourth grade, so I mean his level of like being able to explain things is probably limited too. And I'm just a sixth grade kid too, so I'm just like, all right, cool, cool, cool. I'm getting all hyped up. He's telling, and he's specifically what I'm describing. He's specifically talking about, I'll get to it. So Pikachu's kind of the main character and probably the cool character, but when he was describing another character, I was thinking in my head like, oh, I want to be that character because what he was describing was basically when one of the early episodes when Caterpie evolves into Metapod. And like he said that, like the way he described it, and I remember it so distinctly. He's like, "Yeah, there's one Pokemon that goes to the next level," and I'm already thinking like, "Oh, he's got to be the strongest, therefore he's got to be the coolest." I'm like, "Yeah, someone like I'm gonna be that guy." And then when the funny thing is when I finally got around to watching the show, it's just fucking whack ass Metapod. He's like nothing hype at all. It was just super funny. So I mean, that's this is kind of going back, but um, kind of more into the game sphere. Pokemon was huge. I remember friends over my house and from elementary school, from my brother's friends and some of my middle school friends, and with the link cable we're trading and just the limited information that was out there. The internet had not. I mean, I don't even think I had access to internet in sixth grade. I was more like seventh, eighth grade, but
Dial up.
this is the very early days of the internet, right? Mind you. So there's just when rumors are kind of spinning around. I remember when the first kid to have a Mew at school, it was like, holy shit, Mew! Like, how did you even get that? And then you hear all the legendary tales of like, oh, you got to do all this and
Under the
just
truck.
made up a bunch of it's by the truck over the SSN. You got to do all this stuff. It was just Game Shark. I mean, that's the only way we were able to do it just as kids. So if you had a Game Shark, that was the move. But that's kind of like the origin of where Pokemon kind of popped off. I was a huge collector of the Pokemon cards. I love Pokemon cards. I feel so sad that I sold my freaking childhood collection, when I was like 21 years old to, for a couple $100 because I was gonna take a trip to Vegas and I just wanted some spending money. I'm like, yeah, like I don't care about this, whatever. Those cards probably would have been worth a fortune now.
Wow.
Whatever, live and learn. But I love Pokemon cards. I've played all of the games throughout the different genres of or through all the different systems that it's
Yeah.
been iterated on. So I played, starting with the Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, all the way through to current on the Switch 2. So I'm very familiar with Pokemon. I feel like my heart rests very closely with the first three generations. Probably the first two the most, but the third one I also really appreciated. After that, they all kind of blur together. If I know Randy knows them, fucking this is Gen 4, this is Gen 7, this is Gen whatever. After Gen 3, I probably couldn't tell you what is what. But I
Right.
still really
What's
enjoy them.
what's
I think
number
there's some
572?
yeah, this is the
It's a black
exactly.
and
This
white
is number
Pokemon, actually.
750. Yeah. Oh my god. But no, Pokemon's huge. I mean, Pokemon's still a big part of my life in the sense of I look forward to the releases, especially the mainline releases that push the series forward and further than it's gone in the past. I think that we've reached kind of a new expectation with the most current game, and we'll get into that. But that's kind of where I started with Pokemon. But I love the franchise just as something that's stuck with me for a long portion of my life. It's one of those few things that have really just like gaming itself has really just been a part of my life for the entirety of my memory. Yeah, I'll kick it over to you, Nick, to kind of go over your history with the series. But that's where I land. You know what I'm saying?
Quick question for you. Do you
Sure.
remember what your first Pokemon game was? Like the first one that you played?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is actually kind of funny. So, and I remember going to Fry's Electronics with my dad, and it was just me and my
Rest in
dad.
peace.
And I remember, yeah, no, shout out Fry's, good spot. And they only had copies of blue version. So me and my brother both ended up getting a copy of blue version on the Game Boy, which I mean,
A
if you
kid's
have a
nightmare.
brother or a sibling,
Kid's
yeah,
nightmare.
if you have a brother or a sibling, it would make sense to you like, oh, one gets red version, one gets blue version, you can
Yeah,
trade. But this, I don't even know if we realized that at that time that they were
at the
different
time.
games or if what. So we're
Yeah.
like, oh, let's just get this. Like, this is the game. And then I was looking at the backside, and I was like, yeah, this is the one they have at school. I need this. And so yeah,
Nice.
and then my first starter ever was Squirtle. I started with Squirtle. My brother started with Bulbasaur, and
Nice.
both of those probably the inferior pick to what would eventually become the majesty that is Charizard. But
The
yeah,
face of Pokemon.
So it's all it's where it started. Blue version, Pokemon Blue, and then I had silver version
Nice.
for Gen 2.
Nice. See, I will pick it up from there. Kind of, your first game was Blue. My first game, where kind of Pokemon all started for me, and gosh, I like you said, you're the oldest out of all of us, so you definitely had the most experience, or have had the most experience with Pokemon. For me, I can't remember exactly like what age I was. If I had to like kind of guess or take like a guesstimate, I would say maybe I was like what 5 or 6 years old. But I remember it so perfectly because I was at my grandma's house and we were outside, and one of my older cousins, which I think they're most of my older cousins, they're around actually your age, Edwin. They're just like 9, 10 years older than we are. Um, and he had a Game Boy Color, and he was playing Pokemon Crystal. And that's not my first game that I played myself, but that was what kind of introduced me to Pokemon. And so like as he was, I think he was leaving my grandma's and I was just getting there, but I was like, whoa, like what's that? That looks so cool. And he's playing his little Game Boy Color. I don't remember what part of the game he was on, but I remember I saw this guy right here behind me. And that was like my first Pokemon that I saw. I'm like, I just instantly fell in love. I was like, is that like an alligator? What is that? I'm like, that's so cool. I was like, and then just from there, I think I ended up getting the
Is that
Game
a
Boy
fierce
Advance.
alligator or alligator?
I got a Game Boy Advance. I think my first game that I played was Fire no, Leaf Green. But I don't know if it was because of Randy or what. I somehow got both copies. Like I got Leaf Green and I got Fire Red. And of course I took Charmander. You got to take Charmander. Um but shout out Sam with Squirtle. Um but just from there on out, I was just hooked. Like it was crazy. Like obviously, like I don't do drugs or anything like that, so like I don't know that kind of addiction. But if I could compare my Pokemon addiction to that, it's probably worse because yeah, I was just in basically my face in the Game Boy Advance screen, just nonstop leveling up, going through all the Pokemon leaders, just kicking their butts. I know Randy has probably talked about it on some of the past podcasts. Like I'm that type of trainer. Like when I get my starter guy, I'll hang out in the first town or first route for about like an hour to 2 hours, just making my Pokemon like completely yoked out or like 20 levels higher than he needs to be, just so that way I can spend the next like hour and a half or 2 hours just completely just rolling over the gym leaders. Maybe I'll catch like one or two things that I think look cool. Not even like it doesn't even have to be like a type. I'm just like, oh, if that Pokemon looks cool, like I want him on my team. Like he's cool. He must be strong, right? So I'll have like maybe 3 or 4 guys by the time I'm at like the 8th gym because I only like want the guys that I think look cool on my team, and they're all like level almost 50 already.
Just quality over quantity. I agree with
Close.
that. They gotta look
Yes.
cool. I don't like the
Yeah,
whack looking Pokemon.
exactly.
Diglett, get out of here.
Yeah.
You don't like
Yeah.
Diglett?
No.
I like
I mean,
Diglett.
I mean, what does Diglett look like underneath?
Have you seen those memes? It's like a big muscular body.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a bit
yeah. If that was actually Diglett would skyrocket up to like
I'm gonna
top
tell you.
20.
I'm gonna tell you.
if he got a
Pokemon.
mega,
The
if he
po-
got a mega and that was his mega
That's just his
evolution.
head.
No, do you know if you got a mega, there'd just be 10 more of them. That would just be
Oh
his
god,
mega.
yeah.
But
Part of me thinks he just looks like a little fucking sausage. Like he just pops out. He's just like he looks the same on the bottom as he does on the top. He's just like a little
the amount of
worm or
times I
whatever.
put Diglett and Dugtrio on my team in Fire Red is just he's usually always on my team. He's always my go-to ground type.
Really?
Yeah, he's usually my
Really?
go-to
Yeah,
ground type in that game.
I don't even touch him.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
he's fast. He's the
Diglett
fastest.
cave.
He's
I
the
literally
second
just
fastest Pokemon in the
repel my way
game.
through.
That's I mean, I wouldn't know that because
Diglett is the
what
fastest
the heck
Pokemon in
is
the
that
game.
thing?
Second fastest. Do you
Who's
know?
faster?
Do you know who do you think's faster in Gen 1? Who do you think's faster than a Dugtrio?
Pidgeot, Gengar. Gengar's the fastest. You tripping? No, not my Gengar
Pikachu?
is.
You're gonna hate him. You're gonna hate this answer.
Oh no.
Let me see. Hold up. Give me a hint.
It's uh, it rolls.
It rolls. Voltorb?
Oh, no.
Electrode.
Electrode?
Electrode.
Oh, okay.
Electrode's the fastest Pokemon. Actually,
Really? So his speed stat is
I believe he was
is
the
faster
fastest.
than Mewtwo.
Mm-hmm. I believe he was
No
faster than
shot.
he was the fastest Pokemon for like 3 generations.
Wow.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
So shout out
Especially
to Electrode, I
downhill.
guess. Yeah. But
Jeez.
Yeah, so kind of bouncing.
Wait, what? Hold on. One thing I wanted to say really quick, if you don't mind,
Yeah,
I'll
go for
make
it.
it quick. I think, and I don't know if Randy said it before in the past, but I just wanted to say it since I'm here now. That and I don't like to take credit, but I do like to at least kind of throw it out there that I was kind of like how would you say, like how would you say it?
The
Basically
master.
Randy is my Padawan, basically. I
Yes.
was I was the one that introduced Randy to Pokemon. I remember we were
Wow,
going
the
to
catalyst to his addiction. That's crazy.
Yep.
yes, and
Everybody
he
blame him.
definitely he has way surpassed the sensei and just fully taken on. But because we one day, me and Randy, I invited him to a hockey game. We went to a Kings game. And this was, I don't remember what,
It's like
like
in 2005.
2005 or six, because this was
It
when
had to be 5. You know
one.
what's funny? Kind of to pause you real quick. I actually don't know the exact date when I got into Pokemon. I'm pretty sure it's 2005, and then that Christmas was my first game because
Really?
I've
Oh my
had
god.
I've had the by the time I liked Pokemon, all the Generation 3 games were out. Fire Red, Leaf Green, Emerald, everything was out. So I just kind of just had to pick and choose what I wanted. The GameCube games were out, and then I had to have had a lot of time because Diamond and Pearl didn't come out until 2007. There had to be some type of gap because I didn't get Diamond and Pearl right away. I remember it being a big gap.
That's like
Two,
2003, no? Like is that
2000, it
around
might have been
2005 is like when Xbox
2004.
360 came out.
I
I
mean,
think did it. I think we looked it up. It was like 2004, 2005.
it
It
might have
was
been
it was one of those
2004's
years there.
end, and then like 2005 is like
Hmm.
the beginning. So
Yeah, I
Because I
graduated high
remember,
school in '05. That's crazy. So like I mean, I was already
dang.
a
when
young
did
man.
we graduate elementary school, Nick? That was 2006, right?
Elementary school?
Yeah,
6.
How old are
because
you guys? I feel like
Wait,
I feel
no,
like
8,
you guys are
20,
that young.
28, or how old are we? 29.
29 or 29.
Okay, nine
Yeah,
9 years. Damn.
Well,
I'm
no,
pretty
because
sure
isn't middle
because
school is only 3 years, and
yeah, so
I graduated middle school in 2010.
2010. So yeah, 2006 was elementary school because you go
Hmm.
into 2007.
Hmm.
Because Diamond and Pearl weren't. Was it out? Diamond and
I
Pearl
don't
was
think
only
so,
out for a little of elementary school.
or maybe it just came out.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, continue your
Well,
story.
because what I was gonna say was, because I remember I had my Game Boy Advance, and at the time I had Ruby. I had the Ruby version with Groudon and
Yeah,
what was
that's a
it,
good version.
Mudkip, Torchic, Trico. And I don't know, I don't remember. Randy probably could tell you, because this is when his first intro into Pokemon. But we're just in the car going to the game, and I'm playing, and Randy's like, "Oh, what's that?" I'm like, "Oh, here, cool, check this out." I was like, "It's Pokemon. I love this game." Blah, blah. And I remember like handing Randy the Game Boy to let him play, and then he's just playing, kind of like figuring out what to do, learning, blah blah. And I'm kind of, I remember, Randy probably didn't see it because he's sitting there with his face in the screen, but I'm kind of just sitting there looking at him, and I'm just like, I get like a smile on my face, like
A monster's creating. You know
he's
what's funny?
hooked.
I remember that car ride so vividly. I remember what I remember most about my first exposure to Pokemon is not Pokemon itself, it's the bag. I have no idea why, but navigating that bag was so foreign to me. Because remember, at that point, I was only Banjo, Mario, more Banjo. Like my gaming hemisphere wasn't really big yet. Like I was still learning other games. I was mainly
You
the
mean like the
3D.
inventory, like the stuff in
Like yeah,
your
this is your
like
bag
Yeah,
your
all the
items?
inventory.
items,
Yeah,
and
I
potions and
remember
like
everything.
your
being
bag, like what?
yeah, I remember being so confused, and I remember that the most. And then, yeah, I played quite a bit that day. I was kind of hooked, and then I remember talking to him like, "Yeah, I'm gonna ask for it for Christmas." What's this game called? Pokemon Ruby. I had no idea there was other versions of it. I had no recollection of that. So kind of leading into mine, like,
That's
yeah,
crazy to think, because I mean, like I mean, I was, you know, I was already just into Pokemon for many years before you even like got a taste of it. Then
it is
that's
very
crazy to
Right?
weird.
That
me.
Everybody,
it's crazy how you guys are
You feel like you were
family, and
born
like
into like
always,
loving
you guys
Pokemon.
are
Like I loved
always
it at
hanging out.
two.
So you would have thought like Edwin would have showed,
I
or like
had
Randy would have
Yeah,
seen
I
it
I
somehow from you.
avoided
And
it
like, it's
I
somehow.
for
crazy.
sure have showed you this shit before you got into the games, maybe.
Yeah,
But
and
He was
yeah,
probably
and
just
that's
like, I don't care.
And I mean, to
I
be
don't care
fair,
about
like
that.
I didn't have a Game Boy or a Game Boy Color, so like maybe this was around the time where I just got a Game Boy Advance. I'm like, yeah, I need games for this thing, and that's when I was probably more open to it. Again, I don't really remember how all that played out, but yeah, I somehow avoided that. I do remember as a kid, the only thing I remember as Pokemon before that is seeing a Pokemon commercial, and I remember vividly Poliwag. For the longest time, I just loved Poliwag because
They
I
were
remember,
trying to push Poliwag and
yeah,
Poliwhirl and Poly as like being like a face. I remember when the Burger King did the golden cards, and one of them is Poliwhirl. I'm like, why is Poliwhirl like one of these fucking characters? Like nobody gives a two shits about this guy. I mean,
well, it
unless you're
worked because
present day.
I love the
Yeah,
Poliwag
yeah, yeah. There
families
you
of
go.
passion.
They got one.
Yeah, I love
One of
Poliwag.
We got 'em.
17 humans.
I love Poliwag so
Oh,
much.
Yeah, no,
So
I thought he was cool too. He's just a cool
yeah,
design. He's a water Pokemon. I mean, yeah, he's dope.
if I don't
think
choose
he looks
Squirtle and
cool as
Fire
well.
Red, he's usually my water type on my team. But yeah, so that Christmas I asked for Pokemon Ruby. I got it. I fell in love. I for some reason named my Mudkip Muddy. I have no idea why. I don't remember naming it why, but I still have that Muddy to this day in my Pokemon home. And so after that, it was my sister kind of wanted to get involved with the series. She kind of like, every game I got, she wanted to follow suit. So uh we went to the store. I think I've told this story on something before, but we went to the store and my mom let us both pick a game out, and I picked Pokemon Sapphire because I knew of Kyogre because they mentioned Kyogre a lot in Ruby, so I got Kyogre because I didn't have Kyogre. I remember looking at Emerald, but I'm like, oh, I don't need that guy. You can catch Rayquaza in Ruby. I'm like, I don't need him. I need the blue guy. So I remember getting Sapphire, and then Sam picked Fire Red, and I'm like, Fire Red, okay. So I remember turning Sapphire on and being immediately disappointed. I'm like, this is the same game. This is the same exact thing. And then looking at her game and her running into a Pidgey, which at that point I have never seen in my life. So I freak out. I'm like, what the heck is that? Caterpie, what the heck? Weedle, what the?
Oh, wait till Caterpie goes to the next level, brother.
So I eventually convinced my sister
Pardon.
to trade with me, and she got Sapphire, and I got Fire Red, and that's when I started learning more about the franchise. Like, okay, there's different versions, and then again, you might be asking, well, why didn't you just talk to Nick? Well, at this point, me and Nick saw each other maybe for 5 minutes at church every Sunday. Like, we didn't see each
Yeah.
other often as kids, unless like it was summer or something. So when school was going on, like I was basically on my own trying to figure this on my own. Again, we had no
Yeah, we
internet.
went to different
Yeah.
elementary
Seeing my
schools
friends
and
was a whole
different middle
side quest in
schools.
itself.
Yeah.
We didn't go to the same school together till high school.
Yeah.
Basically.
So like we were, I didn't really have anyone to ask questions to, and figuring that out was also part of the fun in my opinion. And eventually I learned about there's different versions, and once I learned about the Pokedex completion. From day one, I wanted to complete the Pokedex. Like that wasn't even a question. Like from the very start, I want to catch them all, and I knew to catch them all, I need all the games. So having a sister like Pokemon, she really didn't. But it was my excuse. Like, yeah, you should get Leaf Green, and I'll get Emerald. Okay, and it was my excuse to kind of get all the versions collected. And then I remember walking to a store and seeing a GameCube version and seeing the Johto legendaries on the box. And that's when I learned about Johto because it's so weird. This is like lost history, but like the way Generation 3 is like designed is like Gen 2 is just kind of absent until Emerald on the GameCube games. So I learned about those later, and that's when I learned about Gold and Silver and people always hyping them up. For years, I was so like intrigued by Gold and Silver. Like these are the best games ever. I'm like, really? Damn, because I think these are pretty good. Like they get better. So Generation 3 was just a special
yeah.
time in my life, and like just starting that, and like Nick said, like it was an addiction. It just like really just caught on to this family so quickly. And my parents were very supportive. Like they had no idea what I was talking about half the time, actually most of the time. But they're like, okay, you need this game or you need this accessory because Pokemon need a bunch of link cables, you need a special GameCube link cable and stuff. Like you needed a bunch of stuff, and they were very supportive of that, which is funny because now I would call them Pokemon fans, and now they know what I'm talking about, which is kind of ironic. um
They were just happy we weren't doing bad things.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Pokemon from the very beginning, Pokemon is very, social and just get me out of those kind of things. And I met so many friends over the years for Pokemon, and it all started with that Ruby version. So, those are my origins. And again, I can go down a rabbit hole of just like the history with the entire franchise because I can pinpoint so much. Getting Heart Gold and Soul Silver was such a big moment in my life because it was these games that people hyped up up to this point, and that was my first ever exposure to the Johto region. Going to the midnight release with Ed1 for Black and White, and just playing that game all night. When X and Y comes out, calling Nick because I'm in Fresno and calling Nick like, "Are you downloading it? Are you downloading it?" Me
I
and
remember
Nick,
that.
me and Nick on vacation, going to a McDonald's to download Sun and Moon. Like, these memories like hold and resonate such a special place in my heart. Like, so this remembering the origins of it all is really fun for me, and hearing other people's origin, because everybody's introduction to Pokemon is very different, very unique, and I'm just happy the series is still thriving the way it is.
Real
But
quick, what was the first time like you and I interacted with Pokemon? Because I was thinking, like you're talking about, heart, the red version that you had, the fire red version. And you're like, man, I didn't have anybody to talk to about it. Or I was like, dude, what about your big cousin, dude? Like I grew up on this. I know this. I know this game. Even though I didn't play like the remakes, so I never played Soul Silver. I never played Fire Red.
Yeah.
Like I know these are like the more modern remakes of the originals.
You never played Soul Silver?
No, but I played the shit out of
Oh
regular
my
Silver.
God,
So it's like,
no!
dude, have you played regular Silver?
Yes, I played them all now.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have them on my 3DS right here on my desk.
Lies, you lie.
Also crazy you haven't
I'm
played
just trying to
Fire
think,
Red.
like-
Fire Red's crazy. I do remember we did talk about Pokemon somewhere in Generation 3, because I do remember you showed me how to find Latios and Latias in Ruby. So you did show me something.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember you
There
telling
go.
me this is
I
how
don't
it works.
remember how I found those guys, but at the time I did.
Yeah, you showed me, and I remember like doing like, okay, I believe you. And then the next morning I'm eating cereal, and I find Latios. I'm like, and then it runs away.
There it is.
It runs away, and I remember freaking out like, did I lose it
Knocked over my
forever?
Cheerios.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember how like it came to be about like how.
I don't
You
know
know
those
what's
lost
funny?
years, like you just never knew I liked Pokemon, and I never knew you were into it either. Like, hey,
I
like,
guess
you like this thing?
all all this kid talks about is Banjo and
Yeah, it was
Mario.
lost time, yeah.
Yeah.
The lost ages.
Yeah. You know what's
Oh,
funny though? There
man.
is a photo. I think I sent you it. There is a photo of you're playing, I think, Red or something on the couch, and I'm just
Oh,
staring.
when we're playing on the couch.
Yeah,
when
and
we're
I'm just
real little,
staring.
yeah.
But I'm still too young to like even. I'm just staring at the screen, going.
You're really little in that
Yeah.
photo.
So, but it's funny. Pokemon was all around me, but it didn't grab me until
That's it.
it did.
You're like, hey,
So,
Randy, you want to check out Pokemon? No, I like Thomas the Tank better.
Yeah. Basically, I probably would say that too.
All right, yeah. My bad, pimp.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's so interesting, and when I tell people how late to the, and again, we were young. Like when Pokemon came out, we were 2, so like we're not playing when we're 2. But when I tell people, a lot of people are surprised that Nick liked it way before me, and when they look at both of us, because I've definitely taken the reign of just being more obsessed with it, rather than like when a new game comes out, all my friends are obsessed with it, which is fun. But like 3 years from now, if Gen 10, well, I don't know, Nick really likes this game, but if Gen 10 didn't come out like for another 2 years, I would probably still be playing ZA, doing stuff, or usually I don't drop a game until the next one comes out. So but yeah, so kind of moving forward to the main topic today, but before we get to the main topic, I kind of want to move back to the history of X and Y specifically, because Legend ZA is a sequel to X and Y, which came out 12 years ago, almost to the date of ZA coming out. October 12th, 2013. A really high point for the series, because when Pokemon Black and White came out, a lot of people bought the game. That game sold stupid well. What is this on my screen? Oh, I guess that's the Elder Reporter. That's weird. Pokemon Black and White sold really well, but a lot of people didn't like those games' directions because of how the whole Pokedex was new, and we don't have to get into it. Black and White 2 didn't sell that well, which is dumb because that's the best Pokemon game. And so X and Y, it really felt like the series was back on top into a very mainstream audience, and I feel like it hasn't left that mainstream audience since. I feel like there hasn't been a dud, quote unquote, by the fans, not the hardcore fans. We do is complain. And yeah, well, that Sun and Moon sold stupid well because of Pokemon Go. But X and Y had really put Pokemon back on the map. I have met so many friends in high school that got a 3DS just for that game. Obviously, it being the first 3D Pokemon game was a big deal. So I kind of just want to hear your quick history and thoughts on Pokemon X and Y. What you remember, what you don't. Maybe you beat the game and just never touched it again. Maybe you beat the game, did some stuff, and then never touched it again. I'll go last because I have over 600 hours in that game. Apparently, to my 3DS. So I definitely remember those games a little bit more. But Nick, if you want to start off, your thoughts on X and Y, or
Yeah.
what you remember.
I mean, honestly, if I'm being honest, I don't remember too much because I feel like I didn't like really put hours and hours into Pokemon games until maybe like God, what
Probably Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield, yeah, Sword and Shield, Brilliant Diamond, Sparkling, like all those. I think maybe because they were on the Switch now and it's just more easily accessible. Not the obviously it's still accessible with the like 3DS and all that, but I think just the nice bigger screen and all
Yeah.
that, like it's just nicer on the eyes. So I would play a bunch, but honestly, yeah, with like X and Y, like I said, Sun and Moon, I love all the Pokemon games, like all of them. Like I have no issues with them.
It's a
Obviously,
Sun
just
and Moon
minus
hate
those
channel.
two. Yeah, sorry. Like I think that's the only one that I literally just beat the game in like a day and a half and just never touched it again because I don't know what it was. Like I couldn't stand it. I don't know why. But with X and Y, I know for sure. Like I did put in like a couple like what 200-300 hours just and I wasn't obviously like I said earlier, I'm not like you like trying to complete the Pokédex. I was more just kind of catch all the guys that I thought were super cool, max them out to the highest level I could or like as fast as I can and then just kind of run through the whole game and get to the Elite Four and the champion. So that's pretty much how I played every Pokemon game up till I think when they stopped doing like the 1 through 8 gym leaders and then the Elite Four and all that. So there's not really much that I do remember because I guess that's my fault for playing the game that way, where I just kind of make everything super strong and then just kind of beat it all super quick. So it makes the game go by super fast for me. So
Mhm.
maybe that's one way that I don't really remember it too much. Of course, I do remember. You remember Yveltal, you remember Xerneas, because those were two cool new legendaries that obviously got introduced, and you're kind of like, all these things look crazy because it's like one's a giant dragon and one's kind of like a almost like a mythical deer or
Like a
something. I
way
don't know. I
sicker
did.
Moltres.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's like so.
Kind of looks
You
like
definitely
Galarian
remember
Moltres.
those.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. But yeah, you definitely remember the new legendaries, like, and then fighting and catching them for the first time. So, I mean, that's kind of what I remember the most. Just
Do you
catching the
remember? And
legendaries
I'm
and
only
just
bringing it up for a question later, but do you remember
Mhm.
actually how you catch them in that game? Like, do you remember that battle scene?
Not no. Mm-mm.
Okay, Edwin.
So a couple of
I'd have
main
to think
points
really
for
hard,
Yeah,
but I don't think
trust
so.
me,
No.
this is gonna
yeah
come back
for
around. But go ahead, Edwin.
Pokemon X and Y. So like kind of just touching your point earlier, Randy, where you're mentioning that this is like the game that kind of brought them that mainstream prominence. So there's a few examples of kind of like the generational leaps with kind of the Pokemon games. I think this was the first Pokemon game that like was fully like 3D, right?
Yeah,
Like
this
I
is the
think it moved
first.
away from the sprites.
Hmm.
It kind of moved into the 3D space, and it was obviously being on the 3DS, it was kind of a huge marketing push. I think so. People kind of look at it like, oh shoot, this is like the new
Hmm.
kind of Pokemon, and obviously there was some gameplay innovations. I think with Mega Evolutions was the first time they brought that on. The battles were more 3D, had a more dynamic presentation, which was really really cool, and I think that was a really huge thing for the game and just kind of moving the whole franchise forward as evolving. One thing that I really really loved about X and Y is that you can actually change the way your characters look. I think this is the first time you're actually able to like get clothes and accessories and kind of like customize your person, which I'm always a fan of with games. Shoot, even with ZA, like one of the first things I'm gonna do, how do I take this stupid fucking hat off? Where can I
Your
go buy
hat,
some cool shades?
trying to
So I'm
take
like, I'm
trying to
already
take your
like, I
hat
want to
off for
look
like
cool. I
three
ain't trying to look
hours.
like this fucking geek. I want to look like, and the way my character looks now, he's straight balling. He looks really cool. Um, so yeah, just little things like that. um, and obviously the new Pokemon are always a huge draw. Um, I think this game also was like the one that introduced like fairy as like a type,
Hmm.
which was which was new. I remember that
Oh.
specifically. I was like, oh shit, that's like its own like type now. And I remember just thinking, are they gonna make Pokemon cards that are like fairy type cards? But I don't think they ever did.
They
Or
did.
maybe they
I
did.
swear they did. I don't think they have, but I swear they did for like maybe a set, but I guess
I
they
was
did.
thinking they'd be pink. I'm like, all right,
Yeah, I
are they
swear
gonna be
I've seen
pink
it, but
background Pokemon cards?
I think what they did, I think what I'm remembering is it was a psychic card, but they add if it was a fairy type, they added like little butterflies in the background.
Oh
I
shoot,
think
yeah.
that,
See, that's pretty cool.
yeah,
Hmm.
but
Um, but yeah, other than that, I'm kind of a little bit in the same boat as Nick, where I wasn't too, I didn't really draw that much from the story. I kind of just went for the Pokemon that I mean, this is kind of my approach most of the time. Is really just I want to have a team of either with a bunch of classic Pokemon that I really love and I know I can catch in this game, or just the ones that look insanely dope. I had I had Pokemon Y when I first played this game, and Yveltal also was one of the coolest Pokemon that I had seen up until that point. So I was definitely
I
looking to
think
hunt that guy
I
down.
got
And
Y as well. That's the
like
one
yeah,
I
like
that
got.
all
was
of Nick's games, I have possession of Edwin's Y still.
oh, do you?
Yep, it's right here.
That's funny. There you go. Shout out. But yeah, I mean, I I love the character customization. I love the 3D move to the 3D graphics, the dynamic kind of battles. And you mentioned something about how the Pokemon are catched or caught. I don't know if there's something
What do you
that I'm
mean?
missing specifically, but or would you asked Nick, like, do you remember how you catch
Oh, just
Pokemon?
like how you catch the legendary of that game.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. No,
I don't know if
I
you.
don't even know if I recall either.
Yeah, the reason why I mentioned that because I so Pokemon X and Y for me, I love these games, but they're kind of forgettable in my opinion. I put so much time into these games, and me and my friend Luis, like these were our games. This is how me and my friend Luis bonded, like over X and Y. We played this game so much together. This is the first generation I got really into like competitive battling because in this game they made it very easy to get a Pokemon that was competitively battle ready. Um, but looking back on like most of the stuff in that game, it's very forgettable. So when I heard that they're making a sequel, ZA, I was intrigued, but talking to people, it seems like the general consensus like, yeah, Pokemon X and Y is pretty cool. Oh yeah, what's your favorite part? I like Mega
You see, the thing
Evolution.
is,
Yeah. And I brought up Xerneas and Yveltal because I have a lot of issues with these legendaries. Not to go on a tangent real quick, but these legendaries are treated so horribly in my opinion. Um, in X and Y, they kind of just show up and you catch them, because the bad guy has it. They don't explain how the bad guy gets them. They just have them. And in ZA, they're kind of just there. They're in the city, and you know specifically Vault's battle in ZA is pretty cool because he's creepy and the way he crawls. I just wish they do more with them. I have no lore behind them. I don't know what they do. I know Xerneas likes killing things, and I know Xerneas likes bringing things back to life, and Yveltal just likes killing things. I just feel like they treat the legend pretty poorly. When you play X and Y, it's clear that it's an incomplete game and they had a Pokemon Z planned. And we know this because of leaked data and stuff. We just never got Z, and I feel like that really hurt X and Y more because you look at stuff in that game and you go play it again and you're like, "Oh, what does this thing do?" Nothing. But I bet you would have did something in ZA or Z. So, you know, Kalos as a region I think is very cool conceptually, but I don't think they ever hit its mark. So, when Legends ZA was announced, I was hoping they can kind of balance or bounce off that very thoroughly, and I think they did. But I think it's fun to look back on the history of X and Y and where people kind of stand with that game. For the longest time, people hated X and Y, but like Pokemon fandom, usually they hate something and then they like it, which means Nick, the next game people are gonna start loving is Sun and Moon. Actually, we're in the minority.
Okay,
Of that.
wait, hold on.
Everybody loves Sun
Wait,
and
hold
Moon.
on.
Everybody loves Sun and Moon. We're in the
What
minority of that.
was that the one where we were at the cabin or whatever in Big Bear and we literally just stayed up all night beating it? Was that Sun and
That
Moon?
was Sun and
Wasn't
Moon.
it that one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, see, I remember we didn't go to bed. We stayed up until
Oh
we were like,
yeah.
okay, we're gonna stay up and beat it. And we literally beat it that night. And then I was like, okay, well that was kind of
you guys beat the
anticlimactic.
whole Pokemon game in one night.
Sun and Moon, that is the perfect way to describe that game. Anticlimactic. That game was hyped up in the best marketing I've seen for a Pokemon game, to be honest. I was just I was just let down, man. Like I said, the sequels are better, but it was too late for that. So, um, This isn't
Mhm.
a Sun and Moon rant because I could talk about hours about what's wrong with Sun and
Yeah,
Moon.
sorry.
Even though that rage bait would get people in here, you know. Why do I hate Sun and Moon? Maybe I'll do it one day. But yeah, now kind of, we have Legends ZA now, and we're back in Kalos, we're back in Lumio City. Again, I don't know if you guys remember Lumio City much from X and Y. I hated Lumio City and X and Y because it was freaking confusing for me, and I didn't like being in that city. So the less time I can be in there was the better. Um, but Legends ZA is out. We have been playing it. What do we think?
You want to go first, Nick, or you want
Mm,
me to take it?
yeah, I'll just go first because I'll
Go
just keep
first.
it kind of brief. I have what, almost like 300 real hours on it, so
Reels.
I've
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, real hours. Yeah, I've been playing it a crap ton, and I love it. I know kind of the thing, like since it has the name Legends in the title, everybody likes to compare it. Oh, how is Legends EA compared to Legends Arceus or Arceus? And I feel like it's not really too fair to kind of compare the two because I love both of them. And if I had to pick one, I'm not gonna pick one. I'm gonna say I love both because I feel like they're different in the sense, especially with the like as far as like map wise, where Legends Arceus you had all your different like zones that you actually travel to, and then it's a big open world. This one is just one circular, like one city, but with the zones in the city. So it's like it's very different in that aspect, I would say. But this is definitely one of the first Pokemons in a long time, and Randy could tell you that I finished the Pokédex so fast, and I think that's because yes, the Pokédex is a little bit smaller. It's what 230 instead of 1,000 something,
Yeah.
so it's definitely a lot easier to complete. But I haven't like completed a full Pokédex like or that quickly in a long time. And so I thought that was cool. I think also too just the grind of it, just wanting to get that out of the way, just want to fit. And this is kind of will attest to how I think I play, and I think Randy and a little bit kind of the style of how he plays. It's like we try to just grind, try to beat the story, but at the same time, while we're trying to beat the story, we're catching everything, trying to complete the Pokédex, fill it up, get that shiny charm because we want that shiny charm to once we beat the game, we're just gonna go horde trying to shiny hunt. And in this game, benching is the new method, which is kind of OP,
Method.
but at the same time, but I will say it's honestly as OP as it seems, or at least sounds. It's like at the same time, it's not really that crazy because it's all just kind of luck too. Because there's been some times where I've spent hours on the same bench, just sitting, sleeping, whatever you want to say, sleeping on the bench to make the day go and then night go. And then after like those couple hours, I'll go walk around the zone looking for a shiny. And I'll maybe have like one shiny or two shinies where there's people that are doing that for maybe an hour at most. And then they're turning around and finding like five, six, seven shinies in one zone. And it's like, what the yeah, Randy, exactly. It's like what the heck? So it's like the even though like when you bench, it's not guaranteed that you're gonna get a shiny. It's still just crazy lucky. It's just we just put in so many hours into playing the into playing the game that we just have so many already.
I have a video. I don't know when it's coming out. I'm still editing it, but I have a video coming out where I'm ranking the best shiny methods throughout all the games, and literally start the video off with saying benching is not a method. It is a method in the sense that you can use it to get shinies, but it's not a shiny method because it does nothing to increase your odds. You're just soft
Mhm.
resetting. So I don't
Yeah.
think it's a method. I just think it's a quick way to reset spawns. But there's no way it increases your shiny odds. So when people say like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's
Hmm.
cheating," I'm like, You're not really doing anything. Your odds are still one in." Well, it also doesn't help that the shiny charm. For those you don't know, the shiny charm is also better in this game. Usually, it increases your odds to like 1,400. In this game, it just straight up does 1,000. So like, it gives you 400 extra rolls, which is crazy. But um, personally,
Yeah.
I think
And I
it's
think
time to reevaluate the shiny odds because now there's so many Pokemon on screen. Like, okay, maybe it's getting a little too easy. But
yeah, and I think because the shiny charm is so crazy now, I think that's why I've just been nonstop, just grinded, beat the game, got the shiny charm, just been shiny hunting like crazy now. Is because since, like I said earlier, since the Pokédex is a lot smaller, 230, this is the first game that I'm gonna try, and I'm like maybe halfway there, almost halfway there. Just trying to do a full living shiny deck. So I'm trying to get every single Well, I guess you can't really technically get the legendaries because they won't be shiny. I don't know until when, if they even come out with the shinies, but at least the
But Shiny's already
first
out.
like
It's not
what?
in this game.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
the first what, or the rest 227
227 are accessible.
or 26. I don't know if you count the that special floet or whatever. But
Oh no, but that float counts as just a float. So
okay, yeah.
oh,
But so yeah, I think I'm at like 117 or 118
Jesus.
um shinies like in the deck so far. That reminds me, after this is over, we need to trade a slowpoke because I need a shiny Slowking.
Yes, sir.
Real
But
quick,
yeah,
don't want to
so
interrupt this too much, but it just popped into my
no, you're
mind. I
good.
need to know the answer. What is a shiny? Are there different colors of shiny floette? Like, is there a shiny blue one, a shiny red, or is it just one
No,
color
the
that's the
float has
shiny?
different forms. So float can be holding a different flower. So there's 6 floets. All the shinies are the body's purple though.
Oh, okay. So it
Yeah.
just they all look the same. It's just there's
Yeah.
different forms.
It's just
Oh,
different
okay.
flowers. Yeah.
Didn't mean to interrupt. Okay, that was just. I was like, oh
No,
my
you're
god,
good.
is there a shiny blue one?
Yeah.
I know, yeah, just spending time there. Great. I got the
Fun
blue one.
fact:
Now I
float
gotta
was
get
the
the red
first
one and
shiny
the
I ever
yellow one.
got in Pokemon X and Y.
Oh,
Shout
nice.
out.
But yeah, no, that's all I was gonna say. Like I love the game. I'm enjoying it like crazy. I'm probably gonna Edwin asked me before we got on here, like, hey, how about that new Black Ops? But I'm like, I've I'm like my one of my first Xbox 360's games, for those of you guys who don't know, was Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2 2009. That is the greatest game ever made. I'm just kidding. That's just my biased opinion.
I have to play
But
more too.
that's yeah, that's what got me into like shooters. So I've always played Call of Duty like every year that they've came out pretty much, but this is like one of those years in a long time where I just really have like no desire to play a Call of Duty game right now cuz I'm busy shiny hunting, grinding, and then also I do kind of like my MLB The Show on the side on PlayStation. So those two things are just keeping me occupied for right now, and like I don't really see myself playing like shooters or anything else right now cuz that's how much I'm loving this game.
Wow.
Very
So
cool.
yeah, what
Edwin.
about you, Edwin?
Yeah. So I mean, Pokemon ZA, I really like this game. I think it's a a pleasant breath of fresh air. Obviously, there's tons of like new things that we can kind of talk about from like the real time combat, which I think is really fun, a little bit more engaging than kind of the turn based. I love like I'm gonna call it the athleticism of this game because it's just so refined with just user interface to quality of life. Like everything is just thought through very well to where like a lot of the jank or the clutter or the clunkiness of other Pokemon games, I feel like it really doesn't apply here. Everything is just super. You can do things quick. I think you could beat the whole game, and I think I had like 200 and something battles, which seems like not that many considering it's a whole game. And then also, a point of criticism with this game has been, oh, it takes place entirely in Lumio City, where it's like, oh, like, well, what about the outside and what about but there's plenty to explore. I mean, it also has verticality. There's buildings you can go on top of. There's sewers and little basement areas you can kind of crawl into. And then there's just a plethora of different hunting and wild zones and um, zones where you can battle. So I mean, it's really well done. I like that everything's kind of just like boom right there. If I need to look up a video or let somebody shows me where something's at, it's like okay, the map, and you start to learn the map and you just know it like the back of your hand. I'll tell you right now, like even Pokemon Gen 1, I know Pokemon Gen 1 map pretty well. Like I know, where everything kind of is, but even those simple kind of, when you need to fly to a city and it's like, oh shit, which side is, this city on? Like when I'm playing those games, I still have to like I'm like going to each one. Like, is it this one? Is it this one? It's like this one I feel like you can play it with not that many hours and start to learn it really quickly. And I think that that's also to the game's credit. The design is just really well done, I think. And I'm having a good time. I'll say I'm having a good time because I don't think I'm quite ready to put it down, but I did complete the Pokedex. I have a complete living dex with inside my boxes. I have an awesome team. Um, I'm working my way still to try to get that shiny charm. I still have about 500 more battles to go at this point, but I
Halfway
think
there.
once I get that, I'm gonna I'll dive a little bit more
I'll
deeply into the
bench.
shiny hunting. It seems like the whole shiny scene in this game is just kind of out of control in the sense of people just going bananas with the amount and the volume of shinies you're able to kind of rake in, which I don't know. I mean, I guess Randy, you can talk a little bit about this when you kind of share your thoughts, but I'm kind of in the camp where I feel like this is probably the best way to kind of do things moving forward. I mean, you can make the argument that it devalues the value of a shiny because now there's not that many of, or there's too many of them out in there, and it's not, you catch one and it's not as special or whatever. But I mean, realistically, if you want to attain, so my whole thing is things need to be attainable in a game. Like if something's so rare that your odds of ever having it, you know, you lose people with that. I mean,
Shiny
obviously there's your
Arceus.
hard,
Yeah.
yeah, there's your hardcore people, and there's your that prefer it to be rare because it makes the grind worth it in the end when you do finally get that prize. And I get that side of it. I mean, I'm not going to say that that's not an invalid point, but or that's an invalid point, but I think that for someone who's maybe on the more casual side with this, it just makes it a little bit more attainable, and it's not something where it's just completely impossible. I've always felt like shinies were impossible for me. I can count on probably one hand the number of shinies I've encountered naturally through playing every single Pokemon game. Legitimately, it has never been more than 5. I think across all the games, and that's not including the ones that are like already guaranteed through, you know, like Red Gyarados and all those. I
Mhm.
just never see them, and it's just one of those things like because I don't see them, I really don't care about them.
Mhm.
But this makes it kind of like it gives you just a little bit more incentive to grind out those battles and to try and I guess too, like the fact that the shiny charm is locked away behind 1,000, you do have to grind. You do have to put in time. You know,
Mhm.
you got your fiends like Nick and Randy who'll knock that out in the first week, but I mean, you know, I've had the game a month and I still have not gotten that. And so if the odds are that much more important to you, you can put in that work and on the front end. But at least you have a path of how to get there, and it's really outlined pretty well. But overall, I mean, I love the game. I think the game's great. I hope that real time battle system is something that they bring over into the mainline series, or I don't know. I wonder what this means for future Pokemon games, and I kind of wonder how the implication of how this game does, both critically and commercially, translates into what they decided to do with series in the future. Obviously, this is a Legends game, which isn't part of kind of like the main line, but who knows? I wonder what they're cooking up with the next formula and how that's going to kind of compare, because it's for sure going to be compared to something like this.
Yeah.
But I'll leave it there.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you now, like, unfortunately, like, you just said it, like, these Legends games, I mean, most of us have come to accept that, like, it is its own thing. It is part of the main series. I'm gonna correct you on that just because Pokemon fans get really mad when you don't call it main series, and I'm gonna get a bunch of hate
My
comments.
bad.
Yeah, no, I don't really care, but, um, but you know, it's to me, it's confirmed to like these are two different teams working on two different projects, and unfortunately, in my opinion, I think the Legends team just has a better grasp of what fans want. You mentioned earlier like the jankiness, all that. Legends game, I just feel like it's just so nice to move around and like menu wise. My biggest plus for Legends Arceus was the mass delete, and that's not in Scarlet and Violet, but it's in this game. So like clearly they just have different like, oh yeah, we want this to be easy
Mm.
in this game, we don't want it to be easy in that game. As for the battling system, I think it's a 50-50. I think we could now with Pokemon Champions coming out, Pokemon Champions is like a battle simulator game that they've already confirmed that they're going to be using this game moving forward at the Pokemon Championships. That means you won't need to buy a Gen 10 game or a Gen 11 game. Like Champions is going to be the hub of like this is where everything's going to be taking place. Um and in my opinion that tells me like okay, now they have more wiggle room to be a little bit more experimental in the mainline generational games. Will they? I don't know. I really do like the battling in this game, mostly because of how quick it is, and it's one of those things that we're gonna have to. It's gonna be a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, like Arceus to Scarlet and Violet, where Arceus you're catching things, boom, 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 and then you go to Scarlet and Violet, and it's just a little bit too slow. I love Scarlet and Violet, but catching was not a highlight for me in that game, and I feel like a lot of people step in like, yeah, no, it was kind of slow. Um, so now that I have this fast battling, boom, 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 Nick doing 50 battles in 30 minutes in at a battle royale, like that's just not gonna be possible if they move back to turn based. And that sucks. And I don't envy the Pokemon Company in the position they're in because now they have these two fan base. Because some people don't like the Legends games. I have a handful of friends who just don't straight up like these games. And I look at them,
Weirdos.
yeah, they're crazy in my opinion, but there's
Have
some
they played them and they just
yeah, they
think
just
that it's
they,
inferior?
yeah, they don't, my friend Luis doesn't like Arceus. He's enjoying ZA more. Same thing with Josh, our friend Josh. Josh didn't like Legends Arceus either. He's enjoying ZA more. Um, but Josh and Luis have admitted that, like they have a little bit more of a connection to X and Y. Those are the games that kind of got him back into the Pokemon franchise. So like, they're a little bit more nostalgic. Oh yeah, this is. So I don't know if that has something to do with it. Because I honestly think the catching mechanics are better in Arceus. Uh, Not that they're much worse in ZA, but I just feels like, sometimes I'll throw a Pokeball at a Pokemon like 5 feet from me and it's too far. It's like,
Yeah, it goes like over it or like just
yeah,
disappears.
yeah. It's like, come on. The last game I was sniping him with the feather ball. So like, what are we doing here?
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
feather ball.
So, but other, looking forward, not looking forward, kind of seeing what we have now. I love ZA a lot more than I thought I would. I think one of the last podcasts me and Edwin did, I kind of talked about how I was worried about it. The city setting scared the heck out of me. Like I just felt like that would get boring so fast, and I am very happily surprised that they kind of nailed it in my opinion. The city feels lived in. The NPCs in there are awesome. Even the side missions, although they're not like nothing spectacular, they're funny enough to kind of like, huh, okay, keep moving forward. Um, and like Edwin mentioned earlier, like you learn the city. Those first few days, I remember like, where am I? Like, I'm trying to figure out like these buildings look the same. Then it becomes a threshold point where like, actually, wait, I do know where this is at. This is near Zone 12. I can tell you where the Pokeball shop is. It's up here in the top of the map. The stone shop is right under the Pokemon. Like, you start remembering things like an
Mhm.
actual city. And I think that just shows you good design of like the city and it's thought out. And I have more of appreciation for it because I've been recording some stuff for X and Y on my 3DS capture card, and I visited Lumio City, and like the city actually is designed the same way it is in ZA, from down to the canals and everything. Like super cool. Like they kind of just copied and pasted it and just expanded on it, which I appreciate more. It's not just like oh yeah, we made a brand new city. Like no, if you go to X and Y, you can probably navigate the city as well as you can in this game, which I think this shows really, they really thought about the design of this. But, I just, I appreciate it for what it is. I appreciate it also for it kind of bringing this casual audience that they feel like, not that they're accepted, but like I feel like they're more willing to do stuff. I'm not calling you guys casual, but like, completing the Pokedex is a very daunting task in every Pokemon game. So I'm glad people are doing it in this game. I'm glad that, I don't have to ask somebody like, oh, you need to catch 1,000. Usually, this time of year, everyone wants a shiny charm. I'm trading my living decks to people because no one wants to catch them all. I haven't had to do that this year. People just caught them all because they wanted to catch them all because it was easy, because it wasn't a very asking task. And I think that's super cool. Seeing people being very excited that they can dress up their character, because to be frank, this is the best character customization we've had since X and Y. After X and Y, it was downhill. It's like, what happened? We're back in Kalos. Now it's good again. I'm like, okay, let's keep it like this in every game moving forward. Like, it's fun seeing TikToks and YouTube shorts on these characters, and no character ever looks the same. They're always wearing different
Yeah.
clothes with a different mixture. Like, I think that's super cool. I think it adds flavor to your game. I love seeing people take pictures with their Pokemon. Like, these smaller aspects to this game, I think, are the biggest pluses to me, because it shows people are enjoying the game outside of the battles, outside of the catching, outside of the shiny hunting. Like, they just enjoy being in this world, and I appreciate that uh ever so much. So, shout out to Legends EA. I have enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I'm playing it a lot more because I honestly thought this was gonna be. I only needed 4 shinies in this game for my shiny decks, and I thought it was gonna be a boom, 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 and then I'm done. But nope, I'm still shiny hunting for things I don't need, but I want, because I just want more of it. The community in this game has been great. It's been awesome. I've enjoyed it very, very much. And
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask both of you guys a question. So this is something like, so the question is going to be like, assume you were in charge of of basically the decision here. So okay, Randy, you've just been promoted to head of Pokemon. and
Finally.
game design, and
Fuck.
we can
About
either.
time.
'Cause I've been thinking about this in terms of how they handle just different versions of the games. You know, here's your red and blue, here's your X and Y, here's your sun and moon, here's your blah blah blah, and like I think, and you know, you kind of start to do some of this with Pokemon Home, which kind of integrates all the. Because I would like for them to create a game that is like the game, and then they just kind of add like DLC or like expansion packs or new like annual updates. Like if you would that be the move kind of. I know obviously they're not going to do that if the sales are going to continue with, you know, they can sell two versions of a game, and
Yeah.
people will buy it twice, and eventually that kind of just boosts the numbers of of their sale. And I don't know, I don't know how the financials work, but just in terms of like what would be the, I guess, the coolest way to make it going forward. I think like if they came
Yeah.
out with like Pokemon Home the game, or Pokemon, you know, just Pokemon, boom, and then, you know,
So it's
they'll have a new region. But imagine having like a world where like all the regions are accessible, and you can somehow, I don't know,
yeah.
I think that'd be
So
so dope.
there
I think
is.
as a true Pokemon fan, that'd be awesome.
Well, I want to chime in. There is a Pokemon game like that. It's not real, but it's a fan game. It's called Pokemon MMO, and I used to play it. And at the time it had all 6 regions, and I think in concept it sounds awesome. In theory, it sounds cool. In action, it's too much. You know, I think it's overwhelming, and of course, if we do it the way like you continually add to it, I think that'll help. But I think people would drop off of it a lot faster because that's just like, But any game, like, if there's a game like that that you keep
Maybe
adding,
that's a good point.
people will drop off of it like, oh, that's too much. People get excited for Pokemon because when they make a new generation, they can explore a new art style, they can explore a new theme. You're on newer hardware, so the graphics may be better. Not much for Pokemon, but they may be better. Maybe it'll run better. Like, I think they have more flexibility if they're just making a brand new game. I do think they should just drop the 2 versions. And again, Legends continues to show like you don't need 2 versions.
We're going 3.
Yeah, no. You don't, yeah, you don't need to, and Legends keeps showing that, it's
Yeah, honestly, the 2 is strictly because it's money. You
yes,
can sell the
and
same thing.
yes.
That's the only reason they do 2.
Yeah. And and Scarlet and Violet, Nintendo just had their financials last week. Scarlet and Violet just became the second best selling Pokemon game of all time.
Yeah,
So
see?
like they're still selling, and they just
They're
passed.
trying to sell you 3. They're
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
fucking
They would
introduce
if they could. If they could
4
get away with
versions of
it,
this
they
game.
could.
I mean, they're the only game that can get away with it. I mean, name another game that has multiple versions. The other games have tried and they've failed. You know,
And
remember
they
Zelda
could.
Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages? That shit was a flop. Well, I don't know if it actually was or not, but I mean, I can't imagine that those did bonkers numbers
Yeah.
with with 2 versions.
They can only get away with it because they've been doing it since the 90s. If they started that
So they're
now,
in a
Yeah,
then
unique
pretty
position.
much since the
yeah,
beginning.
yeah.
Yeah.
So and again, in the beginning, I think it's a cool concept. We're now in a era where a version exclusive isn't valuable anymore because now I can just go online and find hundreds of people with the opposite version who needs my version exclusive. In conception, like the way you would go on the playground and try to figure out who had red version, who had blue. I think that's cool. I think it's a cool social experiment. I think that's fun. But again, Legends shows you don't need that. Legends People like Legends because you could just catch them all in your game.
Yes, I
And
love
GA
that.
GA kind of takes a step backwards in one department. In Legends Arceus, you can get a link cable item and just evolve them without trading, and that was awesome. That's not in this game. I don't know why, but
Is it not in the game? It's just
no,
not.
you have to trade again. There's not a
And
lot of trade
they
evolutions.
had that in. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
the link cable was just like an evolution item, and people were like, "Oh, this is great moving forward," and it just wasn't in this game or Scarlet and Violet. So it's like, okay, we're taking a step back, but whatever. Um, yeah, I don't know, a big Pokemon game again. That sounds cool, but again, I think it's just too much. I think people. I don't think you would enjoy it as much as you think you would, in my opinion. And maybe you will. I don't think
Well,
I mean, I played the MMO and and the MMO is designed in like fire red, black and white like aesthetics, something I love. And even then I'm like, you get kind of like thrown off like, oh.
you made a very good point where like the kind of the drop off. I'm thinking of it from the as a long many years Destiny player, and this is kind of the model that they had. Destiny was they had Destiny 2, but once they got to Destiny 2, they weren't cranking out Destiny 3, Destiny 4, Destiny 5. It was just Destiny 2, and that
Yeah.
was the game. But pretty much once they made Destiny 2, they're like, okay, now there's this expansion, and there's this expansion, and they had creative ways to do like soft power resets, because like
Yeah.
the one criticism would be like, okay, like I have my Pokemon from last generation, the new generation's coming out. I'm just gonna wipe through the story with all my level 100 Pokemon. But there's ways of
Yeah.
like making it so that you can, whether it be you can't access your old team until after you beat the story, and then you can do whatever you want, or there's ways to go
Yeah.
about it. But yeah, I'm thinking about Destiny 2 now, where that game's largely kind of collapsed in popularity over the last year, a few months. Um, but if they were to drop like a Destiny 3,
Yeah.
I guarantee you that would roll everybody back in. But again, that's going against kind of what the hypothetical question is. But
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. I don't know. I just feel like it's the same thing with like a lot of games, like like MLB The Show. You're a big show, like just fucking have one game and then have like an annual update, or I don't know, like
See,
what's the
MLB
move? But I
to me,
guess
MLB makes sense to do that. And
as a
again, they're in
service,
this threshold where people will just buy the game as consume. And I'm sure with MLB you would also have a drop off. Like as consumers, we complain about buying stuff, but we also really get excited when new stuff comes out. So like when you talk about the brand new shiny game, like that's gonna get people talking. That's like, oh yeah, I should get back into Pokemon, or I should get back. Oh, I skipped MLB last year. This is the year. Oh, I skipped the last two Call of Duties, but I heard this one's really good.
hmm
If you do the same thing with Pokemon, but like, oh yeah, this new update's gonna be really cool. It's like people might, oh well, you know,
yeah, I get that. You feel like
yeah,
you're falling.
yeah,
I missed the last two, so I'm already
yeah,
behind. Yeah, yeah, you're right. They
yeah.
might
Yeah.
have just cracked the perfect code.
Yeah. Oh,
I just feel
they
like
fixed it. They have the money
yeah,
making cheats.
they got the money printer going.
Yeah. And I think this question was a lot more interesting like 10 years ago when there was like 5 regions. But as you add more regions, it just becomes, I think, too much, and like even like yeah. And when
Well,
I was
just like I don't know. I feel like if they made a game where you could, because that's what made. You have to remember. So at the time Pokemon Gold and Silver came out, it was so fucking crazy because you can beat the whole game and then you can go back. You
that's
can go
cool.
back to the old region
That's
and
cool.
do
And they've
all of
never done
those
it
gyms,
since.
and
They've
that's all
never done
that's
it since.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. They got to like I think it would be so
I,
cool
I
if
I
you
think
could do something where you can go back to at least another region or two.
if they did a region or two, I'm on board for that. I don't think all regions. I remember when the Sun and Moon. I think when Sun and Moon were coming out, a lot of people were theorizing that we're going back to X and Y's region because there's connections. There's like a train station that was never using X and Y, and in a trailer for Sun and Moon, there's a train station. Like, oh my god, you're gonna take the train. Obviously, it never happened. And then people were the Pokemon Company was hyping Zygarde, which never had a story in X and Y. Zygarde kind of just is there. So like, oh, Zygarde has an incomplete story. They're gonna finish it in Sun and Moon because you're gonna, and that sounded super cool. Never happened. In Scarlet and Violet, they also in X and Y region. In Scarlet and Violet, I don't know if you guys know this, but Scarlet and Violet's maps right here, and actually X and Y regions right here. They're actually connected,
They're right there, yeah.
and someone in ZA actually confirms it. Like, oh yeah, I climbed the mountains from Paldea. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. Little soft confirmation.
Imagine
Um,
this. Okay, you just beat Pokemon Legends ZA, and there's like, all right, the city's, the city's safe now. Hey, I hear there's like, something happening, and then boom, you can like travel back to like the Hisui region from regular Pokemon Legends, and all those like wild zones are now like,
popular.
it's like there's like a whole ass open world that
That's
opens up
just
after the game. It's the
that's
freaking
that's just
how
Sinnoh. That's just
sick.
Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah, who cares? But that's still sick. I mean,
Yeah.
they've already made it. Like you just
Yeah.
fucking throw it in the game, throw some new Pokemon in the fucking zones, and everybody thinks you're the fucking greatest. And like I don't know, I'm not to say that that's like impossible or but I don't know. It's like it a lot of that's already been kind of like mapped out to some degree, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I figure like
My just kind of observing Pokemon for the last whatever years, like that is very cool, and I would be down for that. But I think they look at it as like, if you want to play those regions, go buy Legends Arceus. If you want to go play Paldea, go buy Scarlet and Violet. If you want, they're very not good, but they get away with. They can lock things out and just put them in separate games. You want a Dialga, go buy Diamond and Pearl. You want an Arceus, go buy Legends Arceus. You want to, this and that. Like they never bring those back until like years later. This is the first time you can legit catch a Xerneas and Yveltal like in game like this, like with a story since X and Y. Like they've been in other little pocket things, but like this is their big spotlight since X and Y because they, for the longest time, if you had a 3DS, like yeah, Sun and Moon are out, Ultra Sun and Moon are out. Like if you want these things, you gotta go buy our first game. So they're very good at this kind of making you. They like I mentioned earlier with Gen 3, like they make you want them all if you want them all. You know what I mean? So
But I wonder how, like, realistically, what are like the sales though? I know you mentioned that Scarlet and Violet just became the whatever best selling game or whatever. But most video games, their sales are all up front. In the first few months is when they do the biggest numbers, and it's just a slow trickle from that, slow burn from there on out. And I just wonder how many copies of Scarlet and Violet are selling in 2025. Is it a
I,
fucking staggering amount
yeah,
that I'd be
I
maybe
think
maybe it is.
I can tell you. I believe they sold 750,000 units this fiscal year.
And I feel like that's probably as a result of there being a new hardware that they're going to be able to that's leverage,
Yeah,
and it's like it's a little bit of an enhanced experience. But those those are few and far between types of scenarios.
but
So, I mean, if there
the
was no Switch 2, would that 750,000 be 100,000? You know what I
yeah,
mean? So I don't know.
I don't know. Pokemon game. I mean, they're sitting at 26 million sold right now, so they're already
Yeah, that's a crazy.
they're
I mean,
pretty high.
it's a crazy amount of that's
Yeah. The only thing
that's
the
insane.
only thing that's number one is Red and Blue, which is at 31 million, and I don't think they're gonna catch that number. So Red and Blue is still on top.
They're not
But
that far off, and that's
yeah.
the original Red and Blue sold 31 million.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's from my era too. That's
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah. So Scarlet and Violet are at 26.4, Sword and Shield are like 26.3, and then Gold and Silver like at 25, and then from there on, like You know what the worst
Wow.
selling game is? It's like Black and White 2. It's a travesty out here. We're dying out here.
That's
We're
the best game.
the best games out there. What are we doing? But yeah, again, people have brought up that question for years. I just don't.
I remember in Black and White 2 when Kyurem and Zekrom and Reshiram fused together. That was so mind blowing because it's two legendaries forming together to make an even stronger legendary for the first time. I was like, what is going on? But this is amazing.
Now Nick has 40 of them in Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
Really,
100 IV
that's in
or
Black and White
100%.
too.
Yeah, they
They
fused.
like a few. That's the one I never played, but they what the hell?
Yeah, so
They fused together.
Yeah, Kieran. It looks. They look. When I was a, I mean, you guys play Yu-Gi-Oh. When I was a kid, they look like a Yu-Gi-Oh character to me. Like they look crazy. Like,
Damn.
they
Kinda,
don't look like
yeah.
Pokemon to me. Like
I
they're
missed
just.
it.
Yeah, but
Yeah, they look
good game.
insane.
But yeah, yeah, Pokemon MMO. I don't know if it would work. Or Pokemon Big World. I don't know if it would work.
For the hardcore Pokemon fan, yes, obviously we would love that. But kind of like you guys said, like for the casual, it's like you would definitely get tired of it fast because it's over 1,000 things to catch and like all those regions to explore and whatnot. It's very, very overwhelming. That's
It
for
kind of,
sure.
kind of bouncing off of what Nick said. Like you kind of look at the design philosophy since Sword and Shield. People get up in arms with the whole Dexit thing. If you don't know what the Dexit thing is, Sword and Shield were the first games where they cut Pokemon. Every Pokemon game up to Sword and Shield had every Pokemon in every game up to that point. There was no question your Pokemon was in the game.
Yeah, see, that's cool.
Yeah, Sword and Shield were the first game that like, all right, we're getting close to the 1,000 mark. We're gonna start cutting Pokemon. So in Sword and Shield's base game, there was only 400 out of like 889 Pokemon, and that got people mad. But for me, it was kind of nice not catching 1,000 Pokemon and like, oh, I only need to catch 400 for the shiny gem. That's kind of nice. We are what? When did Sword and Shield come out? 2018. We are like 7 years into this Dexit thing, and it doesn't bug me as much as it does for a lot of fans. We're also to the point where like there's so many, there's Pokemon games coming out every year, DLC coming out every year, where like your Pokemon's, unless you're a fan of the stupid monkeys from this game, which haven't been available since the 3DS era. Your Pokemon just not on the Switch. The monkeys are the only Pokemon up to this point that weren't on the Switch at all, which is kind of hilarious.
I was just about to ask, like,
Yeah.
are there any Pokemon that are still to this day like locked away?
It was
like,
only the
on old-
monkeys. It was only the monkeys.
like Panseer, you're talking about those guys?
Pansage,
Mhm.
Panseer,
Yeah.
and Panpour. They
The
were
red,
not
green, and
on
blue
us.
one? Yeah.
They were
Those
not.
were the ones.
Yeah, and
I think they were the starters in one like a new gen. They're all literally the same, but they're just different elements.
I'm assuming they weren't
How whack
added
that
in
would
this
be.
game. They weren't added. They took this long to be added because Fun fact: every year, Japan does a poll, and Pansear's evolution, Simisear, always ranks as the least favorite Pokemon in the entire franchise.
Out of all 1,000 or
Out of all
whatever.
1,000, Pansear's always the bottom. So I'm sure Pokemon Company's like, you know what, we don't need to put these in anytime soon.
No.
So, yes.
Mark this right now. I guarantee you that they're gonna add 3 more monkeys that look just like them, kind of like Eevees, but they're gonna just be here's the ice
Oh,
one, here's the
God.
You know what's
dark
funny?
one, here's the
I didn't care about the monkeys. This game, ZA, kind of made me like, yeah, they're all right. They're all right. Like, I like seeing
Or-
them in the world. Like, they're kind of cool. Like, I don't like their
Or they
evolution
do
much,
cool.
but
They make them starters like Edwin
There's
said,
something special
and
about
then they give
water,
them
fire,
a
and leaf
third
Yeah.
Pokemon.
evolution.
well,
They give 'em a
remember
third
in
evolution.
Black and White, they were given to you right after you got the starters. So they were as
yeah.
like the second starters. Like, they sucked, but they were just there to get you through the first gym, and then people boxed them. But
Box.
kind of going back to what I was saying, like, these games have definitely downtoned like just to make things more accessible, more easier, and I personally appreciate that. Kind of going back to my ZA impressions, like, I'm really enjoying like a more casual audience enjoying these games, and when you start adding these hardcore elements, to be fair, these hardcore elements are usually things we try to get through a day or two to get to like more simple stuff like shiny hunting or just like grinding things. So like, I don't know, putting all that effort into like making these 8 beautiful regions and then like, yeah, all right, let's see how fast we can beat these though. So like, I don't know if
Yeah. No, yeah.
So that's personally my take on it. And again, it's a discussion I've had with plenty of people over the years because, again, in theory, that sounds like the perfect Pokemon game, and in theory, it sounds like it would work. They can even charge like $20 for these additional regions, like buy the region you want. But when you start doing that, I just feel like it starts alienating people. Also, I also don't trust Pokemon Company to make a game that runs that. They can't make one region run, so
That's true. Yeah, I'm thinking about it from a more like maybe once Pokemon makes its debut on like PC or if that ever happens. But yeah, like having that be tied to Nintendo hardware is also probably a huge limiting factor, and
yeah,
that I hadn't really thought through. But nonetheless, it's an interesting question.
yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so with ZA kind of wrapping up, the DLC does come out next month. Actually, in a few weeks, huh?
I was gonna say like less.
Yeah, early
than a month.
December. I wanna
3
say.
weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks. Also, this is all side thing, but I was so excited for Metroid Prime 4, but like, there's so much stuff coming out at the beginning of that month. I'm like, dude, Metroid Prime's it's done. It's
Benched.
game over. Yeah, game over.
Getting benched.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I feel bad for Metroid. As a Nintendo fan, there's a lot of Nintendo stuff coming out at the beginning of the month. I'm like, Nintendo wants to bury this franchise. Anyways, with the DLC coming out, I'm very excited. I will admit, I'm a little disappointed that it's still in the damn city.
Yeah.
I was really
I
hoping they
wanted
were
them
gonna
to
venture
add like
out.
something on the side
Yeah.
or something.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Break through the wall.
Yeah, I again being in this region that we already know of, like, just like, I mentioned one of my not even funny, but it's funny to me. Like, one of the first things I say on my stream when I first start playing the game is you take the train in to the city. My first thing I said, like, oh my god, guys, we're on Route 6, because we are Route 6. We're outside the city. Like, oh my god, I know exactly where we're at. Like, I know this part, but it's like, I hate being confined to the city in the aspect of like, I know what's beyond the walls. I hate when these NPCs mention like, oh yeah, if you go to this city, I'm like, I know what that city is. I know what's beyond these walls. Let me out, please. So I'm a little disappointed that it's stuck in the city. Nonetheless, it still looks very cool. I'm very excited how they handle things. I'm very excited that they're giving Hoopa a spotlight. I'm gonna be very upset if they don't give Volcanion a spotlight, because this boy gets no love, and I need my boy to have love. Also, Game Freak, if you're watching this, Volcanion is one of the few Pokemon that is shiny locked in every game. So if you want to bring him back to the DLC and make him not shiny locked, I'm gonna tell you now, you're gonna sell a lot of DLC packs with shiny hunters. So make that happen.
Game Freak. Also, if you're listening, and Randy and Nick, just you public servants announcement, you guys should check out Pokemon Unbound. That's another game that I've been kind of chipping away at. That you talked about Hoopa. Hoopa is like the main. The whole story kind of focuses around that Pokemon too. So when I seen that
Hoopa's
it was part
cool.
of
I
the
love
DLC,
Hoopa.
I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I already kind of know about this Pokemon because I've been playing this, and this
Yeah,
is
Hoopa's
probably an insane story.
yeah, Hoopa's
Randy
awesome.
Randy wants a Volcanion to not be shiny lock, so that way it could be a daily Volcanion shiny check here, day
Yeah.
472.
I'll do a Volcanion. I love Volcanion. His shiny's a little ugly, but it's still cool. But yeah, I'm excited for the DLC. I don't really know what to expect. We have one more trailer that's supposed to come out like next week, and I don't know what they're gonna show, but we'll see. All I'm gonna say is Mudkip better be in this DLC pack, or I'm gonna be very upset. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. He better.
Mudkip better be
We
there.
shall see.
You heard it
gonna-
here. Game Freak.
He's gonna be.
Mudkip.
He's gonna be
One
in it.
time.
He's gonna be in it. There's no way. He's gonna be in it.
I don't think he's gonna be in
He
it.
has to
What about,
be.
what about Mega Mudkip? Just straight up, only Mudkip.
They skip Swampert.
Yeah, no, that's Swampert. Just Mudkip. Straight up Mega.
I'll be down for it. Anything you guys are hoping for DLC? I don't know what. I mean, that's a very open question, but
Yeah, I mean, I would have said
I
getting
don't
the
know.
hell outside the gates of the city, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
it
gonna
doesn't look
say,
like
yeah.
that's going to be happening.
Yeah. I mean, you could always cross your fingers that maybe there's
it could be a
something they're
surprise.
not showing us. That
Yeah.
it could be a surprise. That would be nice, but if not, I mean, it is what it is. It's
These DLC
doesn't look
impressions are
bad.
like based off a 2-minute trailer, so like
Yeah, fair enough.
And again,
is there gonna be any new wild zones?
yeah, the city, the new city is gonna be the new anti-city is gonna be filled with new wild zones and new Pokemon. Like
Oh,
this
so
Pokemon.
it's a new city.
Yeah, it's a different version of the city you already experience.
Oh, okay.
Pretty
well,
much,
that's
it's
cool.
pretty
That's
much
fine.
kind of how like we're rewatching Stranger Things right now. It's pretty much list like a
No. I got a
The
better
Upside
example.
Down.
I got a better example for you, Edwin. It's basically the Dark World from Link to the Past.
oh okay.
Oh, I'll take that.
Yeah, it's basically the
That's
Dark World.
yoked.
And there's a new they're adding like 100 something new Pokemon or Pokemon that already existed, but like 100
Yeah,
additional Pokemon. So like Mr. Mime's in it, like
I will say to the credit of the fact that this DLC is coming out as soon as it's coming out is huge because I'll tell you right now, if this came out like, oh, look forward to this in April, like I don't give a fuck at that time. At that point, it's just
Nope.
I don't. It's out of my mind.
Yep. Sorry.
I'm not playing this game. Like I know you'll probably be playing it, Randy, but I mean, for most people, I would imagine they're not playing this game.
Well,
months
no,
and
you're
months
right,
and
and we're
months.
talking about how much like Nyx played every game. Like I don't think Nyx bought. Well, I guess you bought the Sword and Shield one, but you did get Scarlet and Violets, right?
Nope.
Yeah, and those are good DLCs. Like Scarlet and Violet, that's a good DLC pack, but it just came out too late.
It
So
took too long. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that,
sometimes you miss the mark, and it's like
Yeah.
that's
and they probably looked at
You gotta
those
be mindful
numbers.
of
They
that.
probably looked at those numbers like, yeah, we're selling 26 million copies, and like 6 million are buying the DLC. Like they're looking at these marks like we're doing something wrong. So I'm very happy that they're doing it sooner rather than later. I also think they're doing it sooner rather than later because I think once next year starts, they're buckling down. The 30th anniversary for Pokemon Gen 10 next year. They're going all in for Gen 10 next year. So
dang Gen 10.
Gen 10, we're gonna get
That's
that.
been like every 3 years there's been a gen, then, huh?
Yeah,
Damn.
we're probably gonna get that announced in February for Pokemon Day. God, I'm so excited.
Let's take some predictions here. Okay. I mean, this is going to be very hard to really kind of think about. Okay, what are the 3 starters? What do they look like? What are they? What are you thinking they might be? I mean, at this point, I don't even know where to start.
At this
there,
point, since we got trash Pokemon and we got key Pokemon and we got who knows what, we'll probably have like a cup Pokemon. We'll probably have like a headset Pokemon. I don't know. And
maybe
maybe
like
like
the gaming PC Pokemon. I'd be interested to catch that guy, or like a
or
graphics
a
card
gaming
Pokemon.
chair. We got a gaming chair.
Imagine
Pokemon.
there's
I
like
don't know.
computer component Pokemon. That'd be so funny.
I
Here's the
would
GPU
I
mon,
put
here's-
it past them.
Dude, that'd be so good. I would build all that. Would be my team. Just because I'm such a PC nerd. Just have like a bunch of here's the CPU and the GPU, and they're about to fight Pikachu.
I think Gen 10's gonna.
And then when they evolve, they become a full ass
PC.
PC.
Yeah, they evolve like like evolves from a 4090 to a 5090.
That's funny.
I think Gen
Yeah, I
10's
don't
gonna
know.
be a real celebration of Gen 1. So I wouldn't be surprised if the starters are based off the same animals Gen 1 starters are.
I was about to say, like, is there gonna be like a reptilian, like lizard, kind of like your your Charizard, your Feraligatr, your like somebody like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
They give
for
watch
it.
they watch they give it to the leaf Pokemon. They've never done that, huh? Is there like a leaf kind of
like a
three
leaf.
evolution like reptile kind of Pokemon?
Trico? Is Trico?
I guess yeah. Like
Kinda
Sceptile,
Trico,
but
yeah.
Sceptile looks
Uh,
doesn't really look like
I love
kind
Sceptile.
of. I guess like
Sceptile
I'm thinking more of
was,
like a
I think,
dragon,
who
but
I took in
Yeah.
Rupee.
I don't know. I feel like Gen 10 they can really go anywhere with I really hope they stick the landing for Gen 10. I really hope.
As long as it's not the 3 monkeys, then we'll be fine.
Yeah, so no, I'm
all
gonna
right,
tell
we're
you.
looking good so
I'm
far.
gonna tell you now. I'm gonna make a prediction. I'm gonna predict the 3 monkeys are not anywhere near that game.
I'm also making a prediction that Gengar is in that game.
Gengar's probably in that game. I wouldn't be surprised if
I-
all
I
original
love it. And he's
151
gonna
are
be
in that game. Like I'm telling you, they're gonna market it as like, yes, this is a. I would. You want to be a wild prediction? I'm just gonna throw it out there because it's on topic what we talked about. Wouldn't it be wild in this new region? You beat the game, and then you can go back to Kanto.
Dang.
But it's
That's what we need. We need that kind of
Dang.
energy. That's what I'm hoping for. That would be like the
Yes,
slam dunk
yes.
moment because at that point you're like, it's just like holy shit! Like you just went through this epic adventure and
yeah.
then you go back.
I think
To where it all
if
started.
it was ever gonna
yes.
happen, it would be Gen 10 in my opinion for the 30th anniversary.
It's like the stars are aligning on like
Yep.
30 years, 10th gen. Like
That's something. I mean, I have no idea if this would. That's something I wish they don't even market that. Just imagine beating the game. You're like, all right, here's a ticket to Kanto, SSN, ready to go.
and then the SSN just gets lost, turns into Gilligan's Island.
Dude, I mean,
And you're back in Lumio City. Imagine.
No!
No. Like the Steve Carell. No.
Yeah, no, Gen 10's gonna be crazy. I really think they're listening to the feedback. They know that
They're not listening to the feedback.
Well, I mean more
Let's be
like
honest.
I think they really took the I don't want to say hate, but like the criticism Scarlet and Violet got to heart. I think Nintendo I think it got so bad that and it's not even everybody agrees that game is good outside like the graphics and the performance. Like behind all that gunk, it was a really solid game. But I think Nintendo like it got so bad that Nintendo had to step in like we need to fix this. Like, so I think Nintendo's more involved, which I think is a good thing. I think it's smart having two separate teams working games now that you're not having their one team. We know that they've been working on this game since like the Legends Arceus days. So like we know they weren't putting a team to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl because Nintendo didn't make that. So they're not spreading thin with these teams anymore. They're being a lot more smarter, which gives me hope that like they're putting more thought and like effort into this. And again, because it's Gen 10, I think they know that they just have to. It has to be a banger. They have to hit a home run with this. Like there's no other outcome. I think for them, they have to just And again, Pokemon's most popular it's been since the 90s. I think so. I think they really want to make sure they capitalize on that. So I hope they do. I have high hopes for Generation 10. Nervous. I'm very nervous, but
I will say I definitely do like the past like this game for sure, and then like year before, like I love going into it kind of just blind, like just no spoilers, nothing, because I just at this point I feel like I'm just there's been 1,000+ Pokemon. If they come out with more new ones, it's like I want it to be a surprise. I want to be like a genuine shock and like be like, oh, like kind of because it'll be like kind of like a nostalgic how when we
yeah.
ran into, like you said, a Pidgey for the first time or a Caterpie for the first time. Your mind was blown. It's like I want that feeling again, like just seeing new
Yeah,
things and being like, dang,
that's
that's sick.
that's where I will give him credit. I think so. Again, with Sun and Moon hate, but Sun and Moon's marketing, like I did acknowledge that it was really good marketing, but it was good marketing because they showed so much of that game before that game came out. I don't know if you remember, Nick, but like it was like every other day they had a trailer. Here's a new form. Here's a new Pokemon. Here's a new legendary. Like when that game came out, I think it was like 7 Pokemon that weren't revealed. So like I think that's part
I was
of
gonna
the
say, yeah, all those trailers and everything. I think we were playing the game, going, "Oh yeah, we've seen all this." And we're like, where's the new
New
guys? Or
stuff,
like,
yeah.
where's
I
the
Where's the
new
new
stuff?
stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember that game introduced Alola forms, and I remember the only Alola form they did not show was Geodude. And everything else was revealed beforehand. So after that, starting with Sword and Shield, they just like, we're just gonna shut up. And I feel like it's worked wonders. I've felt such wonder with every game that's come out. Me, Nick, Max, like Edwin, we all get excited like when something new pops up that we didn't know about. And I agree. I love that feeling. And I think with Gen 10, they're gonna keep that. Like I think they know, like I think they see people enjoy that more. I think they enjoyed people reacting to that stuff like that. I mean, we haven't even talked about the new megas in this game, but the new megas in this game, like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, yeah,
Mhm.
they only revealed like 4, and I remember me and
My
Nick were in the
boy finally gets his mega.
me and Nick were in the car weeks before the game came out, and we were kind of contemplating like, how many megas do you think they're gonna like make? And like, you know, we tossed around numbers and stuff, but we kind of lowballed it because they're like, well, they probably revealed most of it, but no,
Mhm.
they revealed like 4, and then they had like 20 more in the pipeline. Like, you know, there's a part in the game. Nick was ahead of me, but I just kept hearing Nick, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god," and I'm like, "Oh man," like, you know, and that was, you know, that's exciting. Like, you know, so I agree with Nick. Like, I really do hope they keep it secret. You know, Pokemon doesn't even have to show a trailer. Like, just release the game and people are there.
Yeah, just
People
drop the
people are
game.
there day
They can
one.
show
Like,
they can show like a 30-second trailer and that's it.
yeah.
And then just
I kind
drop
of
the
wish they
game.
weren't showing anything else with the DLC. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm in. Like, okay, you got me. You
That
know,
could be a whole nother video if you guys want to do just like we go through all the mega evolutions and kind of like just
yeah,
give our thoughts and like which ones are the coolest. Maybe we can rank them. That'd be kind of
that'd be
neat.
fun. Do you guys have a
I was
favorite
gonna say
mega from this game?
there's definitely
Or
enough.
actually, maybe we shouldn't reveal that if we're gonna rank them. Talk about megas another day. But I do like the new megas. I do like that we're getting more megas than DLC. I think that's exciting.
Yes. Mhm.
Here's a question.
Keep them coming. Keep
Yes,
them coming.
please. Do we think megas continue though, or do we think they're getting dropped again? Do you think Gen 10's gonna
You mean
keep
for the next gen?
for Generation 10?
I think they'll come up with a new gimmick like they always do. I don't know if it'll be megas, if it'll be
Yeah.
Gigantamax, or if it'll like. There's a bunch of like they I feel like they reinvent this like all the
Yeah,
time.
I
megas the
agree.
I do
only
like the megas. I think that's probably one. That's probably the coolest one to be honest. Like I think
yeah.
that's the
Well,
most practical. I think having it tied to like a power, like a ring or a bracelet is like that's sick. Like oh damn,
Yeah. Mhm.
you're
yeah,
unlocking hidden potential. There's something cool in like anime about that, which I really dig.
yeah. It's already confirmed that megas are gonna be in the Pokemon Champions game, which will be fun. But yeah, I don't know if they'll be in Generation 10, but I hope they are. Megas are the only gimmick that's been in multiple generations. What it was in six.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it was in Sun and Moon. People don't remember it, but it was in Sun and Moon. It was just kind of there in the background. Um, and then they dropped it in Gen 8, Gen 9. They brought it back in ZA. So like it's been in multiple generations. So, you know, if they're gonna keep one and keep kind of leaving it there, Gen 10 would be the one. And also I think they just see the potential in it. I think they see now people like, oh damn, people really like Mega Evolution. But again, there's some people out there who don't. Hector hates Mega Evolution. He's weird. We don't talk to him. So
The heck, Hector. What the heck,
yeah,
man?
there are outliers. You know, it's funny talking to people like him and Luis and like Josh. Like I'm like, sometimes it makes me feel like, man, I really just eat up everything Pokemon does, huh?
I'm really not a fan of like the regional forms of Pokemon. I mean some of them look cool, but I just think that I don't really like that concept. I feel like oh man, like now there's this version of this Pokemon where it just makes the whole Pokédex kind of confusing
Yeah, I
now. Where
can.
it's like
I'm with that.
Man,
I don't know about
I
that.
love the
When
regional forms.
when
Well,
I'm here
I
looking at my living shiny decks for
yeah,
Legends EA and I got
it
a
feels incomplete.
Stunfisk and then I got a different a green and black. I'm like, what? Come on.
Yeah, I
I
literally have a separate page from the living decks. It's just called like
Forms.
variants, and it
yeah.
just basically
Different
like
forms. Yeah.
here's the
Mhm.
regional form of this guy that's in the game. Here's this one. It's like oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my
Mhm.
only gripe with regional forms, it's kind of a gripe and a plus. I think Nick's gonna agree with me on this. In Alola, the forms were just forms. Like Diglett, Dugtrio, Alolan Diglett, Alolan Dugtrio. It kind of always just, you know, paralleled each other. In Sword and Shield, they started doing this thing where like the regional forms evolved further. So Zigzagoon, Linoon, but then Linoon got another evolution. But regular
Right.
Linoon didn't, which bugs me.
I
But
yeah.
the
Yeah,
regional
see,
form did, and I'm like, that's
Mhm.
cool. Like Linoon needed a evolution, but it bugs me that the original one does.
Yeah, it's like now
Basculin,
where's the original
Basculin
evolution?
sucks,
Yeah.
but Hisuian Basculin evolves in the Basculesian, which is cool. So
Yeah.
like, I don't like
I
the
agree.
inconsistency, but I like that they got evolutions. I like that they got some love. But like,
See, I mean, at that point, I just figured just make it a new Pokemon. Like, I mean, you
yeah,
could probably
or just
tweak
make
a
it
couple little
evolve. Make
things,
it evolve. Like
or that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So that bugs me. But again, if it was either nothing or that, I'm like, well, I guess give Corsola some love.
Is the Executor with like the long neck? Is that an evolution or is that a regional form?
That's a regional form. So that's a regional
just a
I
form.
Executor.
I
Yeah.
hate that one.
Yeah.
That's just the
That
worst.
was funny. He's a
That
dragon,
one's terrible. That makes me sad.
Yeah.
He's cool. He's funny. Pokemon Go
He's a dragon?
it's dragon
The
grass.
fucking pineapple tree.
Yeah, but he has a long neck.
Okay, my bad.
Some of the regional forms have funny lore. Like, the reason why Alolan and Raichu exists is because a Pikachu had too much pancakes, and he became psychic for some reason. Don't ask
Alolan
questions.
Raichu's psychic?
He's psychic electric. Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I think Alolan Raichu is, by the way, way cooler than regular Raichu. I
I
think
agree.
regular Raichu just looks kind of fat and like
Yeah.
kind of just less athletic. Like regular Pikachu looks cool, but Raichu just looks like a big fat orange ball. Like he's not that cool looking.
Have you seen the new Mega Raichus?
I probably have, but
They're cool. They're not in the game yet. They're in the DLC.
DLC.
I've seen the one. Yeah, the ones with there's two forms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
Those
they
look
both
cool.
One of them looks way cooler than the other.
You got to see them in game. I kind of thought, oh, they're cool, I guess. But they
I think
showed
the
they
Y
showed
one
them in the
looks cooler.
trailer. I'm like, oh, they look really cool in game though. Like they look way better in game than like the art they showed. I'm like, oh dang, yeah. But I if you hate regional forms, I'm pretty sure Game Freak's retiring regional forms slowly.
Thank goodness.
In
Well,
Scarlet
Veterans Day salute for that.
in Scarlet and Violet, we only got two. We got the Wooper and the Tauros. That's it. And then in ZA, we got nothing. So like, I think they're
Yeah,
kind of
see, Tauros, that could have just been a Tauros evolution. I've been saying for the longest, Tauros needed an evolution. That could have just been
Tauros is
that.
broken. He would be broken if he got an evolution. It's OP in Gen
He's so
1.
I was gonna say he's so sick. Yeah.
No, his evolution should have been Bouffalont. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
That-
Well.
Wow. But Whoop. I mean, I like Paldea and Wooper. But
You think at any point in Pokemon's future they ever add just a straight up fourth evolution?
wait, no.
Why is
I
that a
don't-
confident no?
I don't think so.
Because I think if they were gonna do that, that would have been what Mega Evolution was. But I think
Yeah.
they established yeah, they're probably not gonna do that. But wait. I coming back to regional forms. I have a crazy theory. What if in Gen 10 they gave the Kanto starters regional forms?
That's exactly what I was thinking of. And I was gonna kind of allude to this, but specifically with a lot of the Alolan forms, it's like, okay, well, like that makes now the assumption that Alola has just native forms of everything else, possibly, or I don't know, where there's just like, yeah, there's what about the Kanto forms of some of these other ones, or if you just kind of start getting crazy with the regional.
Yeah.
I honestly would hate that, but I would probably hate it just conceptually. In the moment when I'm playing the game, I'm not gonna be thinking about it's a regional form, it's lame, but because there is something cool about it too, but I don't know. I just feel like it should just be
I agree
new
with Edwin.
Pokemon.
I
Like, that
think
should be the focus.
yes. Yeah. It's just no.
That would
no
be
force.
hard
It's
to.
it's got to be something new. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
again. I mean, as you can see with this game too, like they loved shoving down the Kanto starters down your throat. It seems like in every game they just give you one. So like, if they're gonna do that in Gen 10 again, they're gonna be those Pokemon are gonna be in that game because you can't make a Gen 10 game without the OG starters. But it would be interesting if they changed it up. I don't know if you would want to tamper with perfection like that because those three are perfection in people's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be cool. I mean, the thing with regional forms is it's not erasing the original forms. So like, I think that would be a cool take on them.
No, I agree. I kind of
Yeah.
like just I don't dislike them in game, but just the concept of this being a practice
Yeah.
Like I'm not even particularly a fan of like the alpha forms in like the Legends games. Like, oh, this is an XL version that's just statistically better, and but like the fact that they're bigger, like some Pokemon look way sicker when they're bigger. Like I think they look awesome.
Oh, I
I
know.
love
Then
I had an Excadrill on my team, and then I found an alpha. I'm like, dude, my Excadrill looks like a mouse. I'm like, I gotta switch this. This is not
you
cool.
gotta just have them, yeah. So it's just I don't know, just like it's like why does it have to look visually so different? I just like I don't know. Maybe I'm just picky. I just like a certain
Yeah.
structure to be in place, and when they start deviating and just like you're building on top of weird things, it starts to get weird for me. But um, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's one of
no,
those things.
to each their own. I like the regional forms because I like the lore implication. Like Sandshrew, in Kanto, there's no ice like place there except like the Seafoam
Mhm.
Island or something. But when Sandshrews migrated to Alola, the icy mountain, they had to adapt, and now they have like little igloos on their back. I'm like, see, I think that's cute. I think that's cool. Like
Yeah, that is cool.
It's
yeah,
cute,
yeah.
but not needed.
It's not
But it's
needed.
cute.
No, it's not needed for sure. And again, I think Game Freak sees that now. Like, I think they rather just because if you look at like Sword and Shield, right? Sword and Shield gave old Pokemon evolutions through regional forms, which is cool. If you look at Scarlet and Violet, they just gave new evolutions to old Pokemon. Primeape didn't get a regional form to evolve; he just got a new evolution. Bisharp didn't get a regional form; he got a new evolution.
And I like that.
And I think
I think
I think a
that's
lot more
Shout
people
out
like
to
that.
Primeape's evolution. What was the ghost one?
Annihilate.
Annihilate.
Yeah, that's a badass evolution. See, they need more of those.
Yes.
Yeah,
for,
and
like, the ones that
that's
don't
what I'm
have
saying.
two
I think they're
evolutions.
gonna lean more into that. I think
Annihilate, fucking sick.
I think they see people like that. But also, I also just think they just do whatever they want. We're trying to predict here. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna, at the end
yeah,
of the
they
day,
don't.
they're just gonna do what they want to do.
Yeah, they don't
They're
care.
gonna
Let's go
make their
wacky with
money.
it. Let's go. I'm
Yeah.
all in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You got my money already, Nintendo. Just give me the product.
If Gen 10 was gonna introduce any new evolutions for any Gen 1 Pokemon, what would it be? Who do you think needs an evolution?
For Gen 1 Pokemon?
Mm-hmm. Again, I'm gonna say now. I'm confident that they're gonna lean into this Gen 1 nostalgia. Like, they're definitely, as much as people are gonna hate it.
Like, how sick would it be if they like the legendary birds had like an evolution? Like, imagine like they just fucking
Evolved.
break the limits.
I'd be for it.
I
I'd be
mean,
like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Wait.
maybe that would be kind of cool. I'm just trying to think like, or what if like Ditto evolved like into like a more crazy Ditto? Like what would I don't know. I'm just trying to think of who. I mean, Lapras. That's another one. Lapras would be a big one.
Lapras, yes.
hasn't.
That's a
Yeah,
good one,
That
right? Like that's
I
another.
would put him probably as my number one.
actually,
That
I'm gonna
that
do.
what I would want an evolution for.
There's a list. Where's my phone? There's a cool, interesting list I always look at.
Like Jinx Electabuzz Magmar were like already gave it.
Jinx is on this list. So this list
Jinx,
basically
yeah.
shows Pokemon.
Wait, does Jinx have an evolution?
No.
No?
Oh,
Well,
shit,
she
I thought
evolves
she
from
did.
Smoochum, like the little
Oh,
baby
they gave her a
one.
baby form. Yes.
The
Okay,
baby
so
one,
we
yeah.
can.
But so she could have a third
She
one.
would be another one.
Yeah.
I just think there's some like. I don't know if there's like hesitation around that particular Pokemon because then like the whole.
Yeah. So
don't
this list basically describes Pokemon that. So ever since Alola, ever since X and Y, they've been slowly getting love to Gen 1 Pokemon, whether it's a Mega Evolution, whether it's a Evolution, whether it's a Gigantamax, whether it's a, something special. So these are the Pokemon that haven't got any love since that. Spearow has not got any evolution, Mega, anything.
Oh yeah, Fearow hasn't evolved. There's no. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be another good one.
Ekans has not got anything special.
Arbok would be cool. Yeah, like
Yeah.
another Arbok.
The Nidorans have not gotten anything special.
For the longest, I've wanted Mega Nidoking and
Yeah.
Mega
Nidoking
Nidoking.
is hype too. That's like one of the strongest in Gen 1.
Jigglypuff has not gotten anything special, which is kind of surprising. Paris has not gotten anything special. Paris needs an evolution desperately.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Paris.
I could see them doing something
Paris
for
has an
Parasect.
evolution called Parasect.
Or Parasect needs that
But
evolution.
well, yeah, I think he's just saying
I know, I'm
something
just
for
joking.
Parasect. Yeah.
Venonet
Just be a
hasn't got
giant
anything.
mushroom.
Venom.
Psyduck. Which is also
Oh yeah,
surprising.
Golduck. I can picture
Yeah,
a fucking. I can
Golduck
picture
evolution.
a like an awesome Golduck. Yeah, imagine.
That'd be cool.
This is wrong. It says Machop, but Machamp has a Gigantamax.
Yeah.
Machamp Cena.
Doduo has not gotten any love.
Yeah,
Seal.
Quadro. Let's go.
Fourth head just pops up.
That's an easy
Quattro,
one.
dude. Do Quattro is a cool name.
Yeah, Do Quadro, bro. That's it. Just lock it in. The four-headed bird.
It should be like that. What is it? That like 3-headed dragon or 4-headed dragon where they're all like angry, and then the one head at the end is like all derpy, like.
Have you seen the video? I don't know if this is like official or not, Randy. Have you seen there's this one video that I watched someone reacting to where it shows like a Dodrio like flying through the air, but it's literally like the heads are just spinning like helicopter propellers.
No.
And the person's just like paused the video, is like, there is no way that this is the way. This is how Dodrios fly. Like they have their heads like a.
Oh, I think I had
It's
seen that video though.
Funny, dude. Oh my god, I started cracking up so hard at that.
Oh man.
It just use its wings and just straight up whacking its head around in a circle. Spinning its
I
head.
haven't seen that, but that sounds hilarious.
Dude, I gotta find that video. I'll send it to you guys.
Shelder.
Who?
Shelder.
Ooh, I would like a
Cloyster.
Cloyster. Like a
Oh yeah.
third evolution. That would be cool.
Drowsy. Hypno.
Hypno had an evolution, no? Didn't he like do it like?
He's due though.
I swear, I thought I saw something that was like a.
He is due.
Hold up.
No, this is wrong. This list says Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan, but if you want to get technical, they did get a baby and another evolution, so I'm not gonna count that. Goldeen and Seeking.
Ooh.
This list is outdated because it has Staryu and Starmie. Starmie got an evolution or a mega.
Yep.
Jinx. Jinx should have got an evolution in Gen 4, but it didn't.
Actually, Drowsy evolving into Hypno is also weird. Like Drowsy is like an elephant kind of, and then he just evolves into this cat-looking guy. Like I don't know.
This list says Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, but that's also wrong. Those got Galarian forms, so I wouldn't even count those. Dragonite has a mega now. Mewtwo has megas. Mew hasn't gotten any love. They want to give Mew a mega. Imagine Mew just Mew just mega evolves into Mewtwo.
Or I was gonna say, yeah, like he mega evolves into like the size of Mewtwo or like the size of like a Dragonite, but it's a Mew. He's just massive.
Oh, that's where I saw. That's where I saw. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a spoiler because you guys had enough time to play this, but you guys haven't. But in the Pokemon, this is where I saw it. I'm literally looking this up. I was like, I know I seen it evolve from a Hypno. There's like a version of Hypno in Pokemon Rocket where he looks like he would be the evolution of Hypno, where he's like an old sage Hypno, but he looks freaking cool. I was like, oh dude, this looks awesome. Yeah, like
cool.
they do like crap like that in the Team Rocket edition. It's really dope.
I hate Hypno.
There's like a whole gym leader that has them.
Hypno.
The creep that lures a child into the forest in the Fire Red Leaf Green post game.
Yeah, well, when you read the description, it's like, yeah, that guy's a freak. But I mean, just when you look at him, it's like, not bad.
Honestly, the craziest thing I heard today was that Edwin's never played Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Yeah, no, I never have.
That's crazy. I thought you would like. How old are you when Fire Red and Leaf Green came out?
I don't know.
2005.
That's when I was graduating high school, still 17.
I feel like you would be like, oh yeah, remake of Gen 1. I'm on board.
See, I feel like I played all the new generation. I should correct myself because I haven't played every single Pokemon game. Like obviously there's like the remakes that I'm sure offer a lot more than the originals did, but I skipped those a lot of the time.
You played. Oh yeah, most of the time. I was gonna say you played. Well, I guess you've been pretty consistent on Switch. You played a Brilliant Diamond Shining Pro, right? Or did you not?
Nope.
Oh,
I didn't play those either.
I thought you played those. You played Let's Go.
I played Let's Go.
Shout out. I love Let's Go.
Shout out, let's go.
I need Nick to play Let's Go.
I think that
I
isn't
even
it
bought
like
the
the only.
little Pokeball.
I would
controller.
I would let Nick borrow the
That's
Pokeball.
actually a clutch like way to play. Like that's
I think
it's
that's
surprising how
literally
good that works. Like
that's the
damn.
only one that I
And
have
you
not
would
played.
love it. You would love it. Please play it. You love shiny hunting? That's a great game to shiny
Yeah,
hunt in.
catching Pokemon in the game is brain dead. You could just
Yeah.
it's just super easy.
You love Pokemon Go now again? You would love this game. Like it's so and it's Gen 1. It's just can't. And I'm going to die in this hill. I still think that's the best looking Pokemon game on Switch. That game art style is beautiful. Like oh my god, everything
it's good.
is it's so pristine and clean. Like if they told me like for Gen 10 like all right, we're going back to Let's Go art style, no one would complain. Like oh yeah,
I remember watching you play it. The visually wise, it looked really nice.
yeah.
Really, really nice.
You got to play that, Nick. When you get sick of ZA, go play Let's Go. In between games, Nick's all like, man, I want to play a Pokemon game. Like, Let's Go's right there. I'll let you borrow it.
I'll just
You don't have
knock
to
it out
buy.
really quick.
You could beat that game in. That game is so easy. My only gripe with that game, this is just getting Let's Go territory. My only gripe with that game is like the post game is awful in that game. So it would definitely be like a boop boop. But all right. Well, any closing thoughts on Legend ZA? We're talking.
I think
for
I'm pretty good on
2
my
hours.
end in terms of what we covered. It was a good conversation though. So
Yeah. I'm just curious
Appreciate
to see how long it'll take to complete the living shiny decks. Because I know for sure, like some of those things, like a Froakie or a Chespin or like that Gibble, some of those things are gonna take a while.
Here's a question. Are you gonna continue shiny decks, including the DLC Pokemon?
That is a good question. I'm gonna have to, or at least like I guess I'll focus more just on the first ones, like the original
Yeah.
ones first, and then I'll probably get into that territory. But
And that means
I would like to.
That means Nick's hunting a shiny Mudkip in December.
dang.
It's gonna be so sad when Mudkip's not in the game.
He's
and
gonna be in
Randy's
the game.
just-
There's no way he's not. If they're bringing back Groudon and Kyogre, they're bringing back Mudkip and the gang. So
Gotta
you
hope.
know. I hope they don't bring
Randy,
back.
would you be willing to raffle away your Muddy? the
My
sacred
original Muddy?
Your
No.
original one.
No.
No
If
way.
this video were to get
No.
1 million views.
Nope.
No, this video could
No?
get 1 billion views, and
If you could just like
he wouldn't.
Uh-uh.
if you could guarantee that this video hits 1 million views.
Nope. That is my
Damn,
that is
what
my
would it take?
sacred
What would it
treasure.
That
take
thing- That thing is priceless. To me.
Yeah, that thing
Priceless.
is
Its sentimental values through the roof.
dude. That Muddy's been through everything with me. Like
Dang.
you know,
Is it just a level 100 Swampert?
it's level 100 Swampert, yeah. Named Muddy.
Name's Muddy.
Yeah.
Named Muddy.
What's
You
cool about
slayed
him?
very
Maybe I'll make a video on it. What's cool about that Muddy though is when you go to his ribbons, it has ribbons from every region. Like it just straight up has like a.
He's just a
ton of-
fame. He's basically
He's the Muddy.
more famous than any of your other
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Yeah, he's just
He's
the
just-
Muddy. I'm sad it doesn't
Shout
show
out, Muddy.
dates because they didn't keep track of dates until Diamond and Pearl. But I wish I wish it showed the date.
Do you know what nature Muddy is?
I believe he's adamant,
Damn.
which kind of worked
Good
out.
nature.
Yeah, it's a good nature. It wasn't a good nature in Gen
nature.
3. But moving forward, I'm pretty sure it's adamant. I didn't know. I'm pretty sure it's adamant because when I read that, I'm like, I don't know what this means. I don't even know what that word means like back then. So, yeah, no, that's a priceless. I have my whole team, my whole original 6 still, just in a box. Boop, 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 boop. So
Wow.
they're all there.
Dang.
Gardevoir, Swallow, Breloom. Is that 4?
Oh yeah, Braylon was solid. I had that on my team as well.
There's 2 more.
Aggron.
Ooh, Aggron.
OP.
I don't remember what my 6th one was.
It would have been a shiny.
All right, that
Aggron,
6th
but
one.
he-
Would
but
you
he
be
killed
willing
it.
to raffle that guy off? You don't even know what it is right now.
Forgettable one? No, it was probably
This is the best one.
yeah, it's probably a fire type.
No.
What are some Gen 3 fire types?
Gen 3?
Yeah. My God, it's got a bug.
Torkoal?
No, it definitely wasn't Torkoal.
Camera?
No.
Uh,
Hold on, I'm just gonna look at this dex.
what else?
Oh, you know what? It probably was. No, I think it was a Hariyama.
Oh, I don't know.
Gen 3 doesn't have
Vega.
any fire types.
Hariyama.
Yeah, no, I love my Gen 3 team. But that's a topic for another day. A Gen 3 episode. Alrighty, well, I think that's all our thoughts for Pokemon Legends ZA. We talked a lot longer than I thought, to be honest.
Oops.
That was
Yeah.
a good one.
That's good. Yeah,
I was gonna say with 1,000+ Pokemon, you can talk for 1,000+ hours.
yeah. No, this game, like I said, this game has really just kind of it's impressed me in a much more than I thought, and that was no shade to it. But regardless, I knew I was gonna enjoy it, Pokemon, and I enjoy the loop, but I think it's very telling that they can make this endless loop, which I've explained to people like, oh yeah, you catch things, you battle on the Royale, and then you do this, and then you do that, and then you do it again. Like the fact that they got this loop down and people are enjoying it, myself included, us included, I think that's telling that they really have something special here. So I'm very happy. I'm very excited for Gen 10, but I'm also excited for Legends. I'm glad that Legends came back, and it sounds like Legends is gonna, here to stay. And the Legends games have proven that they can stand on their own in their own unique way, without really stepping on the toes, for better or for worse, with the mainline generational games. So, we'll see where that takes us in the future. So, shout out to Pokemon.
Shout out indeed.
Alrighty,
out.
well, we'll see you guys on the next one, which will totally come out next week because we're a consistent podcast, and
All right, so stay tuned, you guys.
here at Man Legends I don't even know when I'm posting this tomorrow. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Take care, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for having me.